Yes, and you're still in the secret spot, yes. Sarah. Welcome everybody to the third edition of Quips and Crits. We're coming back from the story we had last time, warts and all, boiled people, dead friends who died so hard and he didn't come back. Starting at my left.
Why do you always start with me?
Starting at my right.
Katie. I'm playing Addie the Rogue.
Candy corner from Katie is a new player. Just say your name, not your character.
Ransford.
You always just point at me and you never tell me what to say.
Exactly. Start looking first.
Across from Ransford is...
I'm Emily. I play Cassandra, the half-elf fighter.
Oh, now you want to know what to play.
And once again, hiding in the Shadow Realm...
What?
is Sarah, who plays...
I play Tribute, the Tiefling Paladin of Tyr.
Gosh, look at us go. Episode 3. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, big thumbs up from the Shadow Realm.
I mean, we learned last session that this area is still in camera, so as long as I just interject.
As long as you just throw your hand in there every now and then.
Yeah.
Personal decisions. A lot of personal decisions. What happened last time? Who remembers what from last time? Ransford, whatever you say happens last time happened. It's totally canon.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone died, and my character's the main character, and I'm just going to do whatever I want now.
So we're going to do this. Let's reach out to our experts here. His character is now the main character of this show that is now an anime. What kind of anime is it, Sarah?
Harem.
It is a harem anime. All right. What is the plot of the anime, Katie?
I don't watch anime.
People can see you lie.
All I watched was One Punch Man.
You were literally telling us you watched Kakegurui like 10 minutes ago.
What's the plot of that?
Is that
Rich kids gamble. Ooh.
I was going to say, is that the anime you developed your character around?
No, I just watched the anime and wanted to gamble.
Okay, Emily, what is the plot of this? What is the plot of this anime? Of this harem style anime?
Catch them all.
Thank you.
In this harem style anime,
so it's Moemon.
His character is what? Surrounded by beautiful women who want to have? Am I just going with like?
Who said they were beautiful?
They did not say.
That is a great point.
It's that bugbear lady that we set that guy up with that one time.
Okay. So, it is about, this harem anime is about a Tabaxi who is indebted to a bugbear godfather and has to take his daughters, who are absolutely in love with him, bugbear daughters, while he goes around and he has to catch a bunch of, Courtney, what does he have to catch a bunch of?
STDs.
And he has to go around...
First thing in my head.
So a Tabaxi with a bunch of bugbear daughters that absolutely love and adore him has to go around the world of Kratica catching STDs.
Incredible.
What is the name of this anime?
I was going to say something stupid like Sword Art Online, but I mean...
Sword Art Online!
I was going to say Garfield the anime. So.
Garfield the anime?
Alright!
Okay, my face hurts already.
What happened last time? Who remembers what from last time?
I killed someone with an ice knife.
Okay. Addie killed... Who did Addie kill? Who did Adela kill with an ice knife?
I was like, what?
Yep. Who did Adela kill with an ice knife?
Odie.
That's right.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Odie.
I did too.
Odie.
It really is Garfield the anime.
Yeah.
Damn, that was a layered joke. That was impressive. I know you guys thought I was joking when I said, if your character dies, you die in real life. That's why Russell's not here. He died. His character died, and then he died.
It was a Roll Yeller.
Your wedding.
Went out to the parking lot with a shotgun.
So much for my wedding this weekend.
Yeah. So Russell will come back at a later date, another time.
Yeah. Whenever he makes a new character.
We were going to a brothel, because that's where the only healer was.
Yes, you were going to the rocking ship after the Goliath.
Who was not Odie.
Who was not Odie.
Another
Odie.
Goliath.
No, he died in the water. Goliath, he was mysteriously, instantly boiled into the water, pulling himself up onto land. He is like, let's say out of a max of like 50 hit points, he was like 2 points away from death. Thanks to the kindness of Tree.
I really, really hope that you guys are like carrying him and he's like, and I feel like I only have 2 hit points left. Like just
out of 50 hit points, I feel like I only got 2. It sucks.
What is he, Danny DeVito?
Yeah, hey, I'm Danny
Oh my God.
DeVito.
Listen, if he was Danny DeVito from the start, I don't know if he would have saved him.
wasn't the other character Danny DeVito?
Yeah, the gnome alchemist was Danny DeVito.
Listen, but my favorite in that whole thing of them evicting people from the inn was Frisky, that obese Tabaxi dude. He was my favorite.
He was Garfield.
With the bell.
What is this? More
Trinket.
treasures for Frisky.
An errand bell for Frisky.
My favorite. I hope he comes back. I love him.
He's actually the main character of the entire thing. You have to find him, apologize, and he'll help you save the
Please.
world.
Wasn't he wearing a ball gown too?
He was
I
wearing
love him.
he's beautiful. That's why. So essentially what happened last time was we came back from where we left off in the first episode, having survived the shipwreck, spending a kind of tragic but still beach day episode, and then coming into Bayside Wharf.
It was a beach episode.
That was technically, I mean, you guys hung out, you talked to each other, you made a big tent. So, I mean, dead bodies though, so...
Yeah, but we also took off our clothes, so...
Isn't that a beach episode?
I did rub sand all over myself too.
And lay down on a rock.
Of that entire thing, that was my favorite part, was you have to do something to cook. I rubbed sand on myself. Your brother's like, just roll around in the sand, you dope. You were all at the shipwrecked. You've seen the job board. You took a couple gigs. You met Mazhug, who did not care for Odie's company.
She loved me.
Loved Adela.
She loved my company.
She liked you. Not enough, if I recall. You took a job evicting tenants who weren't paying their rent. Spent most of the episode doing that. That was Addie and Adela.
Yeah.
And Odie, rest in pieces.
Yeah.
While Tribute and Cass met the actual main character, the guy selling swords. He has the Sword of All-Knowing. If you would have talked to him, you could have bought the Sword of All-Knowing. He has currently thrown it into the ocean. You went down, you talked to Myril, a dwarf who believes there is a great treasure on the Nestaline. He has a contraption that would allow you to breathe underwater, a bowl that he's just going to pump air into so that you can breathe. He said that there is a shark guarding the shipwreck, one that killed a couple of his other companions in the past, leaving him the sole survivor searching for a new crew. At the end of that, Tribute met a priest of Umberly, who was in a floating temple. You gleaned a good amount of information about the myth of the Nestaline, later coming back to talk to them about where a healer is. You were eventually pointed towards the brothel.
Because, priests don't have healing powers.
Except for that one on TV who can use his jacket to cure people. You came and eventually met on the docks, and did the last room where the previously mentioned large boiled man was unboiled, then later boiled.
And he stabbed me.
He stabbed the shit out of Addie.
Listen, I think at that point you deserved it. You've been swindling people out of their rooms all day, and finally one of them decides to stab back.
Man, but unnecessarily.
He's got
We come back to the night. The night has fallen. Addie and Adela has gone back into the shipwreck to meet with Mazhug, who paid them for their work, and then offered them the rooms.
I got the one that didn't have any kind of smells or mess.
You had the chemistry room.
Yeah.
The rooms left over were for Addie. You were trying to Bugs Bunny your way into a proper room, but her patience ran out. So you were left with the cat pee room.
For now.
For now. You talked to Adela, tried to get into that room, but unfortunately you tried right in front of Mazhug. She told you no sharing rooms. You tried to get into her room. No sharing rooms. You would then go to Kaz, who rejected you.
Yeah.
So going from there, Tribute had gone back to the priest of Umberly, who directed her to the brothel, where she could find proper healing for a man whose insides were boiled.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're coming back. We'll return it back in. The night has fallen in front of the rocking ship, the very red brothel, which right now is actually lit up very well. You see more windows have been added to kind of the base of the ship to kind of denote rooms, which you see many of. A good amount of people are beginning to line up on the dock. It looks like there's a queue to get in, and it looks like someone's checking you at the door. But you're carrying this body now, and you're coming up to the gangplank to get in, carrying a nearly dead man. What do you guys do? How are you guys going to try to get into this establishment for healing?
Pretty straightforwardly. My plan would be just to go up and ask the guards, please, we heard there's someone here who's a healer. Do you have a better idea?
I don't have a single plan except walking in with the half-boiled guy.
Okay, you have to go first because you're carrying the head.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cool.
Okay. Carrying the man by his head, apparently?
Like she's carrying the arms.
Okay, all right.
I carry the boiled parts.
I was just imagining like the legs under your arms like this, and just her grabbing his head. like his head just pushed forward, slumped down. Like this probably killed him, but your arms are looped under his. You come right up to. You start cutting through line. People are like, "Hey, seeing exactly what it is you're carrying." And you get up to the front, and you don't see a guard. You actually see there is a dwarven woman. She has shorter blonde hair and a pretty well-made beard with some flowers tied into it. You see that she's standing there, and she's kind of having an argument with the guy that's in front of you. What do you do?
Excuse me, ma'am, everything okay?
Just a second, lass. I have to deal with him. And she kind of pushes a finger into his stomach, and she says, "You're a dirtbag. The girls here know it, the guys here know it, and I won't have you back." And he begins to grumble something under his breath, and she just shoves him, pushing him off the plank and into the water.
Appropriate.
Looks over to the two of you and goes, "And what do you want?"
We heard there is a healer here, and we have a man that's half-boiled.
Looks at you and kind of peers over your side to the man you're carrying and goes, "Aye, there's a healer here. Could you have not brought him at a better time? We're trying to set a bit of a mood. Boiled man is not exactly what you would say for mood."
Well, sorry that he didn't get boiled at a more appropriate time.
Me too. Fine. Let's head in. She waves the two of you past. You hear the grumbling, "Hey, where do they get there for? That guy looks like jerky." And as the two of you step in, she comes behind you and closes the door, and you hear the suck of a lock. Now that you've entered the ship, holding this man, a smell kind of wafts over to you. It's a heavy smell of a distant perfume. But you see that the interior of this boat would usually be held for cargo, for kind of bedding, or even just extras on the ship, has been opened up now. You see that there is still a lot of red, orange, and yellow. The ground is laid out with a nice rug, and there's fancy furniture about the place. Armoires, and think of a very Victorian style. Tribute this would seem familiar to you. And you see that there are women around in the kind of outfits you would expect from a brothel. But you do see that there are quite a few men wearing maybe not what you'd expect from men in a brothel. How familiar is it? You see that one or a couple of them are wearing some leather pants. They're talking to what looks like a few potential customers. You see them turn, and you see that there are no backs to these pants.
I thought you were going for
Equality.
I thought you were going for chaps.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But the air is very upbeat. It's very fun. You hear again this distant kind of tinny music. You look around, but you don't see any musicians. This seems a bit odd to you, but you're snapped back into reality by this small dwarven woman. She goes, Come on, don't leave him in here. You'll kill the mood." She takes you to the back through some very large doors into a hallway that looks more like a ship. The color is gone, and the distant sound is now made hollow by the walls, and you hear more of the creaking of a ship. You're led back to a large door that looks like it had the word captain on it, but someone tried to scratch it out. She says, "In here is the mistress Saywin. She'll be doing the healing for you. Good luck." And she turns and walks away.
She doesn't even knock on the door or anything. She's leaving that to us.
Yep.
I guess I'll knock with my foot.
So with 2 kicks, bump, bump, you hear a deep sigh. Come in.
You can set him down for a second.
Okay. I'll set him down and open the door.
Inside you see an office. Something peculiar about the office, though, is it looks to be lined with scraps of metal. Like square scraps kind of riveted into the wood. Her desk, too, looks like it's made and forged out of some sort of metal. But she sits behind it looking very curious across, her hands folded in front of her. "And what have the 2 of you brought me?"
Please, ma'am. We heard you were a healer. We have a man who is in desperate need of such talents.
"Bring him in. Set him on the desk."
We will do so.
Yeah.
As tenderly as we can, wield a Goliath, I suppose.
As you bring the body in and you place him down, his head, arms, and legs just hang off this comparatively very small desk. She looks at him and she says, "Well, it's not often you see so many of these in a day. What happened to this one? It looks like someone was halfway through cooking him. Did you lose your appetite?"
I don't think I could explain it myself.
Yeah, he was in the water, and then suddenly he was screaming, and then he was boiled.
That's about what happened.
You weren't you were local, right? You weren't too far to the west, were you?
No, ma'am. It was by the shipwrecked inn's ruins.
Oh, you were just outside.
Yes.
This is very common near the boiling sea. You see this quite a bit, though. And she kind of starts poking at him, and he groans, and she says, "They never live this long, though. Interesting. You seek healing?"
Yes, for this man's sake.
Of course. She just begins to examine it, and she just grabs this leg. And when she does, she grabs by the heel of the foot and the knee, and you see the calf kind of just slide and drop down like raw meat in a bag, and she just kind of very gently places it back down. This man is pretty well injured, and it's very noble of you to bring him here for healing. I myself can see about 5 days. He would need some work. 2 days he would certainly recover. He would live. But I don't think that he would ever have use of anything from his waist down. After 3 days, he would be okay. After 5 days, I could have him up and walking again. He would have to retrain the muscles, but he would be fully mobile. It would just require, and she kind of looks into the air, 5 silver a night. The medicine, the healing, the worth of magic. I think I could round that around to about 75 gold pieces. 60 if you just wish to save his life.
Well, we tried.
Wow. And I thought I was the difference.
How noble of you.
Unless the 2 of you are willing to do a little bit of work for me.
Well, I certainly don't have that much money myself. As a paladin, I don't exactly have that high of a pay grade. If there is something that you need done, I could definitely try and see what I could do.
Well, it is quite a busy night here, and entertainment is more of our business than anything else. If you'd be willing to work tonight, I could, depending on what you can offer, waive the fee of healing him for your work.
It seems as though your establishment is lacking a little bit in live entertainment. If you like, I would perhaps be able to provide such.
How so?
Music.
Music?
Yes.
You're not suggesting an instrument. I have a bard already.
No, I do not play an instrument. However, I was quite a singer before I became a paladin.
A singer turned paladin. As far as pay grades go, it seems like you stepped down.
A bit unusual, yes, but I found the higher calling to be worth it.
Most people think so. Well, I'd be happy to have you as a singer. And tell me, what are you now?
Oh.
I'm a half elf.
Well, I can tell that. It's fine. It doesn't matter. What good do you offer?
I honestly don't have anything to offer. I'm more of a fighter.
Oh, we have plenty of security. My employees have no problem defending themselves. Surely you offer more than just a sword.
Not really. I mean, I don't really have any talents or anything.
If you're just a sword, what good are you?
Exactly.
Well, if you wish to save this man's life, I'm sure I can find deck work for you.
Okay.
Good. Now, you,
Yes.
Tiefling, what is your name?
My name is Tribute.
Tribute. And you, half-elf. What is your name?
Cassandra.
Cassandra. My, what an ordinary name. If you'll be working for me, you will not present yourselves in this manner, and you most certainly will not smell as you do. We'll call Holly. She's the dwarf you met outside. She will take you into the ship, into the common area, where you will be offered certain amenities that we require of employees. Use them well. As far as I can tell, this will be your first shower you've received in a long time, but I expect good work. This man's life is in your hands. He means nothing to me, and I'd gladly feed him to the sharks. So work well. She smiles a large smile and points to the door.
Thank you for all of your help. I understand it is a great task. We will do our best to live up to it.
Good.
I'm gonna nod to leave.
I'll leave.
As you walk out the door, close it behind you. You wait a few moments and the door opens again and you see the dwarf. She comes up and she says, "So, what did she offer you?"
She said that we were able to work off our debts for the man's healing. I offered to sing in the parlor, as you seem to be lacking some live music. I believe she said that you would be some deckhand, some physical
Yes,
labor.
that work.
She looks over and goes, "That looks about right. You'll actually be singing on the top deck.
Oh.
The night's beautiful, it's warm, the stars are out. We have tables set upstairs now on the top deck. Something about sleeping under the stars seems nice. Perhaps drinking and romancing underneath would be nicer. So, that's where you'll find yourselves. But for now, you smell. And to be frank, you're both kind of ugly. Let's head down to the showers." She walks you down to the hall, to another door that goes beyond the office, and there are stairs that go straight down. And as you walk down, it's more of a ship. There's less paint, the sound is completely gone and drowned out. And as you get to the bottom, you see dorms. They're very simple dorms. They're small beds with pots inside. There's racks where clothes can be hung up. Tribute, you'd recognize this more of what looks like a staging room. Somewhere you can change, somewhere where your costumes can be put, what you're wearing for the evening. Such places require living arrangements. And at the end, she comes to another metal door. She points to you both, and she says, "Behind this door is the shower room. There's a small room before where you can hang your previous attire, shower, and come back. Someone will be waiting for you to dress you." And she reaches behind a closet, and she pulls out a basket. She hands the basket to you, Tribute. She says, "You're performing. There are perfumes and lotions in there. Make sure you present yourself in such a way that would be good for people to see and experience. And she looks over to you, Cass, and she hands you a waxy used bar of soap. And she says, just get dressed when you're done.
Okay.
And she turns away and walks.
Don't sell yourself sword, Cass. You are an excellent sword.
Well, thank you.
We're
But
gonna go shower.
didn't sign up for any of this.
So while the two of you,
I look like I'm gonna cry entering the shower. I'm so ready for this.
Whereas Cass is like, I didn't sign up to take a shower and be
It's like, thank God, a
She
shower.
just wanted to drop the guy off and go back.
so while the two of you are preparing yourselves, back over at the shipwrecked, Kaz has begun his set. He starts out by setting up his lute, his chair, and he gets everybody's attention. He says, "Hi, everybody. My name is Kaz, and I'll be performing for you tonight. Who here's from Bayside Wharf?" And no hands go up. And he says, "All right. I guess I'm just going to play some sea shanties." And people are like, "Whoa, sea shanties!" He sits down and he's going to start to play. Oh, God, really well. Yeah, wow. He is absolutely nailing the sea shanties right now. Adela, what would you like to be doing?
I'm proud of him.
Just sitting watching, I suppose.
Okay. Tables are becoming more and more scarce. This is a very public space where people come and they sit down and meet with strangers, or they just sit at a table with somebody else if they never speak with them. The table you can find right now has 2 or 3 people at it. Do you still want to sit there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. When you sit there, the show begins. A couple more people come to sit. You are surrounded by strangers. They're watching the show, having some small conversations. Is there anything you want to do?
Yes.
Addie, you've grabbed a table. No one was sitting at it.
Not under the stars.
Not under the stars yet.
Okay.
And as the show's beginning, more people are beginning to funnel in.
Alright.
And an old human man comes in. And he grabs a drink. He comes to the table. And he sits next to you. Not close. But just, he doesn't like, hey. He sits and just fairly close to you. And he just sits and he quietly sips his beer.
or is there like anything they offered to me, or do I have to like go to the bar and purchase stuff?
You'd have to go to the bar and purchase.
Alright. Yeah, I want to get a drink.
Okay.
How much will that cost?
If you want to just get a regular, what would just be a regular drink, probably cost you like 2 copper.
Okay.
You can get a jungle blood. That'll cost you 3 silver.
I was told what that's made from, and I don't want it.
Okay. Oh, you learned how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
All right. So you
It's just made from weird berries. That's not.
lethal poisonous berries. Everything's fine.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that we wanted to go find. Yeah. Mhm.
Just get your drink. Head back to your table.
Alright, so how many coppers are in a
10.
gold?
How many
Or
coppers are in a
gold?
gold?
Silver.
10.
So,
When you remember how much money I have?
Just start with 10.
alright.
You sit back down at your table, and this older human man is just kind of sitting and tapping his hand on the table.
Is it like in an annoying way, or is it like a yay?
Roll a madness.
Oh God.
Along with D4 proficiencies, we're also doing madness and honor checks, which are comprised of certain stats and can be used in certain situations. In this one, we're going to see how temperamental you are right now.
Okay.
Both of them involve wisdom.
And
Which
both
is
of
like
them.
one of my worst.
Crit fail.
stats.
Okay.
Oh God.
Crit fail.
+1.
Mark up the crit fail, please.
Oh right, I almost forgot.
The crit fail tally.
That's great.
He's sitting and he's tapping his hand. He's sitting and tapping his hand, and it's just, for some reason, it's louder than the music. It's just nails hitting wood, just clack, 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 clack.
I'm gonna get up and leave.
When you get up to leave, he turns to you and he says, "Oh, excuse me, was my tapping too loud?"
Just a tad bit.
"Well, I would hate to scare you away from your seat. Please sit. I'll buy you a beer for your troubles."
All right.
Sounds like, how cheap are you? This is the test.
When you sit back down, he corrects himself. He sits up in his chair and he says, "Forgive me, I work at the community center here. A lot of town meetings and such. I've just been cooped up all week doing repairs and I haven't gotten out. My name is Ladley. It's very nice to meet you."
Yeah, very nice.
"What is your name?"
Oh, I didn't tell you.
"Well, a bit secretive. I respect that, where Bayside is not the safest of places. I can appreciate you. When you finish with your drink, let me know. I'll be happy to get you another."
Thank you. What was his name again?
"Ladley."
I almost put lady.
So he sits with you, and really no one else comes to the table. You see there are people standing against the wall, but the table itself, with chairs, remains vacant. The two of you can sit and enjoy the show. We'll come back around to what you guys are doing at the bar. Back at the brothel, we can just say the two of you had finished your shower. Unless there was any particular interaction that you wanted to have there, any conversation, anything. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That guy sure was interesting.
Look, it's like, I get it. It's hard to be in the shower with someone else and not look at their junk, but it's discipline. It's what the army teaches, is discipline. Don't look at another man's junk in the shower.
I mean, I don't know about Cass. I haven't been in the army.
I'm a soldier.
But I'm also not inclined to look at people's junk.
No.
So.
I mean,
Staring at the ceiling, trying to astral project myself out.
when you finish showering, you're given dry towels, and two girls come to meet you. One, she's dressed a little bit finer. It looks like she's going up later to become part of the festivity. She comes for tribute. The other one, it looks like she's wearing just kind of some canvas clothes, like maybe some burlap pants. She's got her hair pulled back and, like the bandana in her hair to keep it out of her face. She comes to you and she says, "Hi, so I hear you'll be doing a little bit of deck cleaning."
Yes.
"Oh, well, it's good to have company doing it. I got stuck on it this week. We'll be doing the top deck. There is the captain's the captain's area where they steer from. We'll be cleaning up there. We'll be, fortunately, scrubbing seagull shit.
Oh,
But
was it?
isn't it just? But it's fine. We do have to keep quiet though, as they'll be performing up there. So
Okay.
if you have to sneeze or burp anything, just get it out now.
Okay, will do.
She points to a room. She says, "Clothes are in there for you. Just once you're ready, come on out and we'll head up."
Thank you.
"You're welcome." And the woman with you, she says, "So you're going to be the one performing tonight?"
I believe yes.
"Well, how fortunate for you. Follow me." She takes you down the hall to a door by the end. And when you walk into this room, you see that there are long lines with dresses on them. These are the dresses we tend to rotate in and out of. You may pick whichever one you care for. I have some additional perfumes and we'll be braiding your hair. There's a certain standard we have to live up to.
I understand. Is there any that you would recommend? I would hate to wear one that someone had worn to previously.
Why?
Well,
Do you think the girls here are unclean?
no, I simply don't want to bore the crowd with something they've seen before. You said you rotate them, yes? What hasn't been used recently?
Something in the back.
Sounds good.
Then she turns and walks to a small seat where there's a mirror and she begins to start pulling things out of a basket. What dress would she want?
Something kind of simple yet elegant.
Okay. What color? Is a rose gold skin is kind of hard to match. I believe pink hair.
White hair, actually.
White hair, okay.
Yeah, pink skin, white hair. So probably either something like purple or white.
You find a dress that matches more your style, more fitting to you. You just get lost in thought, seeing the dressing rooms, the costumes, the perfumes. It brings you back to your days performing. There was one very bad day very early, but there were a lot of good days after. You learned an important skill from someone who mattered. And you were around this life a lot. And you yearn for it a little bit. You feel a little bit of tug in your heart. But you find your dress. You don it proper. And you come up to the seat with the mirror. The girl is standing behind you. She has combs and various braids of flowers to set in your hair. She just looks very impatient. You sit down. She has 3 bottles in front of you. She says, you need to pick a perfume, something that'll go on the breeze, that'll waft across to entice the crowd to look at you. If you don't know which one to pick, I'd be happy to pick for you.
That's all right. I'm not going to react. She's obviously got some kind of problem going on, but I'm not going to fall to it. What are the perfume options?
The first perfume in front of you, it is a green vial. The one next to it is clear, and the one to the end of it is purple.
Can I do like a little sniff test at all?
Which one should you sniff first?
Purple.
Okay. You pull up the purple one and you uncork it. Breathe in a healthy whiff of it, and your heart aches. You remember a time, long time ago. It's a very distant memory, but you were running through your home. Your mom wasn't in at the time, and your dad was leaving for something pretty important. And as you were looking for him, you found him in your parents' bedroom, and he was standing over your mother's makeup table, and he had a bottle of her perfume that he was spraying on the inside of his chest plate. He turns around and he sees you, the tiefling himself. He kneels down and he extends his large gauntleted hand and he says, come here, child. And when you remember walking up to him, he brings down this bottle and he says, do you know what this is? This is called Desert Lily. The first time I met your mother, she was wearing this. And I recall smelling this. Blocks away. I was in the market. I was looking to buy better armor, but I just smelt it and I followed it and I followed it. Till I eventually came to a small block with some performers. And if anyone ever told you that love at true sight wasn't real, they're lying. I believe in love at first sight. But for me, love was at first smell. He holds the vial underneath, and you smell exactly what's in front of you. And you remember the last thing he says was, this was the smell of my destiny.
That's it.
I'm tempted to pick that one, but I also want to check the other 2. That was nostalgic, but for the sake of making the most educated choice, I'm going to test the others as well.
Which one do you want to check next?
The clear one, because I'm not a fan of green.
You open the clear one, and you get a very strong citrus smell. It smells of what you would imagine are local fruits condensed down, alcohol added to make a perfume. This one is known as the Bayside Waft.
That's the power of pine salt, baby.
Yeah, it was a little funnier than I think it should have been. What's the green one for the sake of smelling it?
You pull aside the green one, and you get kind of a very medicinal smell to it. Do a nature check.
Oh boy, my favorite. So that's a 7.
You can't really place it, but you kind of get the idea this might not be a perfume.
Cool. I think my choice is clear. I think we're going to go with the purple.
Okay. You take the purple and you begin to put it on yourself. Just the memory, just the thought of your father, the idea that he puts it in his armor. When you ask him why, Because when I'm so far away, it always feels like she's with me. And you wouldn't smell that armor again. In fact, you wouldn't smell that perfume again. Not for a very, very long time. And with that thought, your heart sinks. And it hurts. That last memory. Then you just sit. She pulls on your hair a little bit more than she should. But she's braided it with some nice flowers. And she walks you up deck through the brothel and up to the top deck through a small staircase leading to a hatch. And when you come up, you see that there are several tables set. And a stage has been erected with small torches around it. That is where you are to perform. Cass, where you're sitting, you've dressed yourself and you're reminded of a time a long, long time ago. One of your very early memories. Your mother was still working, as she is today, but she was working in the castle. You were just old enough to not have to be babied all the time. And with that, you were set to work. You can recall that there was a party, an event, something, that the ballroom was set. There were tables, there were cloths, there were candles, there were fine crystal glasses, there was wine and meats and exotic fruits. All of this had been set for what had to have been the most beautiful ball that had ever taken place. But you see it now at the end. Tablecloths pulled off, tables tipped over, wine spilled and dried on the ground. The food slopped all over the place. You didn't know at the time what a real waste that was. But you do remember having a burlap sack in your hand and throwing it all in there. As you, like many other children in the castle, were kids who cleaned, who spent their lives cleaning, much like the adults did, who spent their lives cleaning. And you walked into this ballroom, and you remember the old woman who would walk around with a large switch in her hand that when you acted out of place, she would correct you with it. And you remember being let loose into this ballroom. The girl knocks on the door again. She says, "We have to get up there. If we don't do this work, we're going to be in a lot of trouble."
Oh, sorry.
When you leave the room, she takes you through a different route. In fact, there's a ladder you have to climb up that takes right up to the ship's, right to the captain's wheel. And when she opens it, she steps out. And it's just covered in white.
Oh, Jesus.
In her hand, there is a wooden bucket with 2 brushes in it. And when you come up, she closes the hatch behind you. And she gets on her hands and knees, and she begins to scrub. And you are handed a brush.
I'll start scrubbing.
You start scrubbing shit off the deck. And you remember, you look out and you see this festivity going on in this boat, and you remember that again. You're back in there, and you're walking around, you're grabbing silverware, you're grabbing whole pieces of meat, of cakes, of pies that have just been carelessly thrown to the ground in some sort of celebration. And you remember finding what had to have been thrown, but had landed perfectly. A cupcake. It had this blue icing with pink sprinkles on the top. And it had landed perfectly on its bottom. It didn't touch the ground, and nothing else had touched it. It was this perfect specimen of a foreign treat that you didn't even know could exist. And you remember, too, the breakfast you had. Old fruit and some cold porridge. And as a kid, you've seen that fruit. You've seen that piece of confection. And you went, this is a treasure beyond any treasure for a child. And as you began to reach for it, a cold slap across your knuckles came from the old woman She smacks it out of your hand and it drops and splats all over the ground. And she looks at you and she says, "You are not fit to eat the scraps of those who celebrated here. You are fit to pick up their trash. Do so, child." And as you come back from that memory, your heart sinks. And as you look over into this party, you see there is a tall man, black slicked back hair, mustache across his face to a small beard. He's standing with a vest and what looks like a nice pair of slacks. His hair pulled back a little bit of gray on the side. And he looks over and he sees you. And he smiles. A big, white, genuine smile.
I'm just going to look down at the seagull. Should I keep scrolling?
All right. Back at the bar. Addie, have you finished your beer? He looks over to you and he says, "I'll be happy to get you another one, friend."
I think I've had enough, but thank you. My name's Addie, by the way.
It's very nice to meet you, Addie. It's probably smart to be a light drinker in this area. The thieves and vagabonds tend to operate more at night.
I believe that.
Yes, it's a shame, but if you've lived here long enough, you learn to look out for it.
I'll keep that in mind.
As you should. Do you plan to be here long?
Not too long.
Well, may your travels find you well.
Thanks.
And he just kind of sits back in his chair and watches the show.
And what's going on around?
Go do a perception.
All right. We'll try. Since I crit failed the last time I used this box, this isn't the right sheet. I almost had 20. That made me so mad. 14.
14. You look around you, and you see they've extinguished some of the torches that light this room. As they're kind of trying to set more of a focus on the stage. As you look around, you see there's a lot of people pretty well entranced. I was going to say something else, but then I remembered he had like a 23 for his performance. So fucking entranced by the sea shanties, which he is now up on his feet, like the lute hanging around his neck, just kind of like bouncing back and forth and just basically yodeling sea shanties at everybody. So people look pretty entranced by that. A few people in the back are sitting, talking amongst themselves. People closer to the stage are paying attention.
Okay. Does Kaz have any tip jars out?
Yes, he actually has a hat that he has placed at the edge of the stage. People, well, he's a performer. Who doesn't have a hat? You have to have. He doesn't have like a case that he could hold. So so there's just a hat that people have been throwing pieces in and out of.
Okay.
Out of.
Well, I mean, they throw theirs in and they get change. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it, but people do it.
Yeah. Is there anything I could find that is similar, like to his hat?
Yeah. If you had like a hood, that would work.
All right.
But if you didn't, you could probably find one somewhere in the bar.
I was gonna say I have a disguise kit. Is there a hat?
Does include a hat?
And it says cosmetics, hair dye, and small props. Small props? Like
Does-
a tiny hat?
You have a fez. You have a fez. Your disguise is a Shriner.
All right.
It comes with the little car and everything. No. Yeah, it can have a hat.
Okay. I want to sleight of hand to place the hat in front of him, like it's his tip jar.
Okay. All right.
But like on the other side, so people that haven't seen the hat would think that's his.
All right. He will do a perception with disadvantage because he's very busy doing what he's doing. So it'll be disadvantage against your sleight of hand.
All right. Okay. That is 25.
Okay, he rolled a natural 1. Go ahead, mark me down.
Oh man.
So
This is the first one for you.
as he's doing his shanty, rocking back and forth, he turns completely and shakes his butt at people. And when he does, you toss your hat up there, and he's completely oblivious to it.
That's what he wanted you to do.
Yeah, it's the vibe, damn it!
Not there to learn.
And I'm gonna sit close to the stage to keep an eye on my hat.
You're a piece of shit.
All right, so you sit close to the stage. You got a good eye on it, and a couple people are walking up and tossing some coins in there. Is there anything else you want to do?
I'm going to show my support for Kaz. I'm gonna go, yeah, and I'm gonna throw a coin in my hat.
That's really smart. That's really smart. Man, you're gonna get a bonus in that hat for that. That is so smart. Okay. No, is there anything you want to do?
I'm just enjoying the music.
Okay.
Seeing as it's not music I've ever heard before.
Where you're sitting, more people have... The table is filled up. But you're starting to hear whispers about what they're sitting at. The table they're sitting at. They're fairly low and you can't really get a good vibe on who's talking. Is there anything you want to do with that?
Try and hear what they're saying.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
14.
14?
Yeah.
You hear that there is a dwarf at the end. He's constantly looking over his shoulder at you. Always just looking at the show and then looking back over at you, and you eventually just catch his gaze. And when he does, he quickly gets out of his chair and begins to move towards the bar.
Okay. Can I stealthily follow after him?
Go ahead and roll a stealth. Do so with advantage for it being dark and there's a crowd, and he'll try to perceive against you.
19.
Okay. Crushes, too.
Yeah, I had a 4 and a 19, so either way.
You see that he's walked up to the bar. A couple bartenders pass him, and he speaks to one, and they give him a really awkward look. But eventually, Mazhug comes over.
Mm-hmm.
With her size against his, she leans, like, her full arms down and almost puts her head on the bar to talk to him. He whispers something to her, and she quickly pulls back and puts her massive hand and points right in his face and says something what looks pretty intimidating and walks away.
Okay. You go tap him on the shoulder.
When you do, he starts. I wasn't doing anything.
I didn't say you were. I was just wondering why you were staring.
Well, it looks like you're made of water.
Yes.
I had a question.
Okay.
Can you breathe underwater?
Possibly.
Because I have a job.
Oh my god. Mm-hmm.
There's a treasure. And if you help me get it, I'll split the riches with you.
I'll have to talk to the rest of my party, but right now I'm here to enjoy the show.
Well,
Why don't we meet tomorrow and we can talk?
yes, that's fun. I'm at the end of the dock. My name is Meryl. I'm at the end. I have... Yes, that would be just... Whenever you're ready, just come there.
Okay.
Yes. And he jumps off and he goes, I told them the job wouldn't be there for them when they got back. Yes.
I was afraid that was going to be something so much worse. This crazy guy.
Yeah.
And then somebody runs up and goes, swords! Do you want swords? I'm not rude, so I whisper, it shows.
I do have need for a sword.
Okay.
As I show him my trident.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Is that a sea trident? Those are so useful.
3 swords in one.
That's like 3 small swords on the end of a really big sword.
That's no need for a sword.
Wow. You're so good at this. And then he just drops all of his swords and leaves. And they just shatter on the ground because they're all rust.
Now I was gonna put my hand swords.
They're just handles.
Yeah.
They're just handles now. There's nothing left there.
But handles? Okay.
Back at the brothel. Tribute, you've been led up the stairs and you see that the upper deck has been pretty well filled. The familiar, the previous smell of perfume is again still about, though there's this lingering smell of the desert lily you put on. And that feeling's hard to shake now. You done did. It's hard to shake. It's the day you found out, the weeks after, how life changed. It's hard to shake, but there's something you can remember that really changed this one for you. But you're led to the stage. Behind the stage, there's like a small curtained off area where the woman looks to you and she says, "This is where you can sit. I'll come back when you're ready to perform. We have a bard. We hired him. I guess he's okay to play, but that's him over there tuning up." When you look over, you see there is a Tabaxi. He has in his hands a lute. Under his feet, it looks like a pair of bongos that have been set up to some sort of contraption that when he kicks his feet up and down, they play. What was the last instrument you had?
Flute.
And a flute that is attached to kind of a harness to his mouth. Go ahead and describe what your character looks like, Ransford.
Apart from that, he's wearing a pair of pants, and since it's on the top deck and it's warm out, we're on the beach, he's wearing no shirt, and he's got a small necklace, and he's like a serval, and kind of a humanoid serval. So he's got really big ears, really big eyes. His face is a little smaller than you would expect from how big his ears are, but it all turns out to like a really cute, endearing looking guy. And he's clearly on the cusp of adulthood, but it hasn't fully run into his body. And if he were to stand up, you would be able to tell he's moderately tall. And behind him on the chair is a set of very, very well-worn, but well-kept leather armor with lots of nicks and cuts into it. But clearly you can tell the armor is a lot older than he is. And he's wearing a pair of ratty old boots, very much like the armor, very well-worn, very clearly older than he is. And he's just sitting there strumming on his lute
I have a
and singing to
question.
himself.
What's the question? I'm not quite familiar with Tabaxi as much as everybody else is. Like, how similar are they to cats? Like, does he have, like, tiny nipples? They're like...
He probably does, but
listen,
they're covered in fur, so you can't see them.
Okay, because I was
You'd
gonna.
have to physically check if you wanted to find out.
There's a couple things about Tabaxi that I'm ironing out, and I was just hoping it comes up and you answer it, and I was just gonna make that canon.
You got
What, the nipples? Are you talking...
Yeah, because they gotta feed.
They're
and
mammals, yeah.
and kind of a couple things we discussed. It just
he's got multi nipples, but you cannot see them
Okay.
unless he wears to get all his fur shaved off, which
Okay.
hopefully doesn't happen.
we'll work on that.
That's weird. I don't want to be naked cat.
Shave off fur.
Ha, if I can't have a
No.
hood, then you're gonna show your tiny nipples.
It's gonna get singed off. Yeah. Gotta find him with fire.
So he's just
So
sitting there
unequivocal.
strumming his lute, singing to himself, really low. You can't really hear what he's saying. You can just see his mouth moving.
And that's what you see, Tribute.
Oh, and the lute, unlike everything else he has, the lute is beautiful, very well kept. Definitely looks like it was handmade. It's like a beautiful dark wood with blue inlaid into it and gold around the hole where the sound would come out. A little bit, just a little bit, not enough to make it really valuable, but just enough to make it look good. And like the strings are very fresh, very new.
So a very
All the things.
well kept, ornate lute.
Very well kept, very beautiful. Everything else he has is just old and well kept, but very old and ratty.
In tribute, that's what you see. What do you do or say?
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
I'm thinking to myself,
Oh.
one-man band. Don't see that very often, but I'm not gonna say that out loud because I'm not gonna be rude.
Okay. And what would your character say?
Oh, my character just looks up, sees her, looks her up and down, so just tips his head and looks back down and continues what he's doing.
All right. What is your character name?
Breeze.
Okay. Only I know that.
Fabry.
As once again, we do not introduce ourselves to one of the players. So I'm just going to call you Bard. Damn, I goofed like the rogue thing. That's fine. So
Listen, when he becomes more relevant, we can have a legit conversation.
listen, when you're relevant to the story, you can talk to the main characters.
Oh. Too
I mean,
bad for
since you made
I'm-
yourself the main character, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole nother universe. It's a one-man band going around. He's sitting in a chair, he's playing the lute, he's got an accordion between his knees, he's playing the bongo with his feet and the flute, and then he's going to have sex with enough people to get all of the STDs.
While still playing.
While still, it's incredible. It's never like if he can pull it off even once, he'd be the first person in any reality to do it.
I mean, if he picks the right person, he could catch all the STDs at once. I just,
But that's like the Johto League, though. Is you've got to get all of the STD batches,
True. All right.
work your way up. Damn. Okay.
Listen, I already have to shake up the fact that my perfume made me depressed. I don't have time to entertain Tabaxi with weird tiny bongos.
I don't have time for you. I'm getting existential.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, back to the captain's wheel. You've been scrubbing shit, and every now and then when you look up to the party, you see that tall figure. He keeps looking over at you. He keeps smiling, and he goes back to whatever it is he's doing, and every now and then, like whenever you look up, it seems like he was just there looking.
I'm kind of concerned since we're at a brothel, but I'm just going to keep doing my job of scrubbing shit.
As you're sitting, as you're scrubbing, you look up and you see what looks like another woman has come up. She's in kind of more dour clothes, what looks like a female pirate, someone who spent her days on the sea. In one of the times that he was looking up to you, he turns over to see her. He smiles and holds his arms open, and she walks up and embraces him very closely. And she looks over and sees you looking. And she narrows her eyes and gives you a nasty glance.
I'm just going to back at the shit. This isn't my problem. You're staring at me.
And as you just back down, scrubbing, you just think about all you've done, all of those memories, all of those years. This is all you've ever done. People told you this is what you'd be. And when you made the effort to get away from it, here you are, on your hands and knees scrubbing shit. And it just sits and it sits and it sits. And it hurts. But you feel at the bottom of that hurt something burn. The thing that burned hot enough that you quit scrubbing and you joined the guard. That was no easy task for you to do that, but you did it. You felt that fire that drove you to do that. And that burn just gets hotter when you excelled in your studies, in combat, when there were much bigger and, to be frank, better bred people than you. When they would come up on your first day, you were just some servant girl who dreamed too big, and your teachers would put people just guys twice your size who were born and trained to do this. And they just laid into you. They just hurt you repeatedly. But there was a fire that kept you going back, that you were never hit hard enough. Your days were never too long. You never suffered enough that you wouldn't come back for more. And that fire keeps burning. The reason why you got on a ship that sunk. The reason why you stood up and fought a pirate who nearly killed you. And why you got back into that ship and drug Kaz out of it. There's been a fire that has been burned into you this whole time. And it feels like just for a moment it had been burned out. But it's starting to swell again. It's starting to burn hard. And you're just scraping at this shit more and more. And you're grinding your teeth. The girl next to you. You can move to another part, but you're just furiously scraping and scraping. You look up, and as this guy is now sitting at this table with this woman who's just climbing all over him, he keeps trying to move his glance back over to you, but she grabs his face and pulls his attention back to him. And it just burns now. Tribute.
Yes.
The time has come. This nasty girl comes back, and she says, I guess it's time for you to perform. I hear you're paying off an awful large debt by singing. How good for you.
I certainly hope so.
And she just turns. And she walks out, and she walks to the end of the tent, and she just kind of points towards the stage.
I'm gonna take that as my cue, I guess.
She looks over at you and says, Bard, let's go.
I hop up gingerly and skip over to the stage. And while I skip over, I look over to Tribute and I say, what are you going to say?
Now, I assume that you weren't trained to stand up, and certainly, as I write this world, there are no common songs. There are bard songs that sing of heroes past, of deeds done this day. But what would be more of a classical that your wealthier type would come for is more of an opera where you don't so much use words as you use your voice for notes, where vocal solos where you're not saying anything, but the tone and the emphasis on just the notes you sing, how that can create feeling and moods and express oneself in ways that words can't. That is the way, if you are okay with it, that is the way that tribute has been taught to sing.
That sounds about right.
Okay. So with that, you are choosing a mood. You're choosing a feeling that you want to express to people. What feeling is that?
You were just depressed by that.
I was.
So you're probably still sad.
We're gonna go for we're gonna take it back to 20s blues jazz. Where it's kind of sultry but also kind of sad.
Okay.
Okay.
I was like, who comes to a brothel and get depressed?
No, it's like jazz sad. It's like the blues.
Okay.
It's low key sad, but it's also smooth and relaxed.
Okay.
Have you seen Step Brothers
Unfortunately.
with Will Ferrell, where he's
No.
doing the opera singing, where
Yeah.
the other guys on the drums going boats and hoes? That's what I was imagining.
At least not with her on stage.
Right.
So having explained that mood, that is what you were requested to play.
Okay. So I go up on the stage. She hasn't gone on the stage yet.
She would actually go up first. You're here to support her.
Okay.
Your job is
She's
to.
already on the stage. So I follow her onto the stage. I set up shop, kind of behind her, kind of in a darker spot of the stage where
Okay.
I'm seen, but I'm not the focal point.
Right.
And I start strumming on my lute, something nice and slow, something where she could jump in on the beat whenever she wants to, and with an occasional, just a little easy bass line with the drums. And just nice and slow strumming, pretty even. Every once in a while, I'll change key a little bit, but I keep it mostly in lower keys. Something nice and slow that she can just ease her way into, and I just keep it right at that the whole time.
Now,
Just for her.
is a part of your job.
Mhm.
This is something very common that bards are told. You will be paid by how well the music is received.
Mhm.
So the better the music is, the better you'll be paid.
Yes.
When you had talked with Segwin, she was not very impressed by you or your music, and she told you it had better be good. You have that neat little thing called bardic inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
At such a low level, I'm going to defer to you, Sarah. Can bards inspire themselves?
The way I think it kind of depends if it's up to you. I always think, whenever I play bards, I always think no, they can't inspire themselves. 'Cause it's like a support feature.
Okay.
It's even I think at level 14 you even get a feature that allows you to use it.
Then we'll defer to that. Do you want to extend your bardic inspiration?
I'll give. Are you facing forward towards the crowd yet, or are you looking at me on the stage?
I think I probably would be looking at you as you set up.
All right, then I'll give you a wink and I give you some bardic inspiration.
Sweet.
D6.
Is that a D6 at this level? Cool.
So the show will begin. You know what feeling to put out, and you know how to put it out there. And because the two of you are performing at the same time, you will be assisting each other. So you'll both roll with advantage.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's roll twice. Take the higher of your D4s.
Okay. I got a not nat 20 then.
I'm gonna
23
go ahead and
actually.
throw in the bardic inspiration
Okay.
just for the heck of it. Not because I need it, but because I want to make it awesome. Sweet. So it's going to be a 23.
A 23 and a soft 20.
23 actually. I forgot to add my charisma.
A 23 and a 23.
We kill it.
Wait. I didn't add my charisma either. Hold on.
Gee.
Wait.
23 and 26.
Yes, it'd be 25 then.
25.
All right, let's see.
We'll bring the house down.
Killing it.
So, with a 26 on the DC setting, you beat a very hard DC.
Wow.
Considering what this was set for a level 1, you go up on stage, the music comes in softly. The nice low bass line. The music is setting the tone for what you're going to put out there for the meat of the song. And as you're beginning to sing, you sing your feeling. You sing something slow, something a little sad. But through your singing, what did you say you wanted to play? You wanted to sing something.
Just that sad and sultry.
Something sad and sultry. You start to sing of loss, of love. You get the attention of a lot of people. The party's kind of settled down a bit. And you see, whereas there was kind of fun and
Frivolity.
Thank you. As there were women on laps with glasses spilling all over the place, girls running up to refill them. You see that stopped, and they're sitting close now. Whether it's working girls with customers or customers who had come together, and they've just stopped and they're paying attention. And as you're seeing this sad and sultry song, you start thinking more and more about that time, about your loss, and about how life was after that. And all you can smell is this perfume.
Man, I should have taken the medical shit.
Or the citrus.
Cass, this entire time, this woman again is just sitting as close to him as possible, but he keeps trying to sneak peeks over to you.
I'm not trying to enable him, I swear.
And when he does, he gets a lingering glance. And he doesn't stare, but he sees you. And he's been trying to see you all night.
Ooh.
I feel like I'm just really confused at this point about why he keeps looking at me.
Well, having been caught, this woman grabs his face and she presses her lips to his, and she just glares at you. This knowing glare, this glare of dominance over him, that you are to stay where you're at. Where you are placed where you're at because that's where you should be. And she is where she is at because that's where she should be. And that fire in your heart burns so bad. Your skin hurts. And your body is filled with this energy, with this anger, with this drive. This could very well be a full-blown heart attack you're having right now.
I hope not. Odie died. You don't need to too.
with this burning fire, with this drive that drove you from home, which kept you from drowning, which you fought somebody you nearly died for, with this drive that is always pushing you to something beyond scraping shit off of a deck. What do you do with that?
Feel like I don't know, because I know this is just a temporary job for the dude, so I guess I'm just gonna go into like overdrive, just like angrily, like super scrape.
You're
shit.
just the brush is like the bristles of the brush are falling off.
You're just scraping the
We're all
floor.
just
Like you're
bent.
scraping the finish off the floor.
Basically.
You're a soldier who has learned to fight. You are fighting every moment to get out of the position people keep putting you in. And you're just going to keep scraping shit?
Well, I mean,
Damn.
You don't know that guy. You
Yeah.
know nothing.
What would Kaz do?
You know
she
yourself.
wouldn't do anything. Like,
What would Kaz?
He's a bad influence.
What would Kaz do? What would he say to you right now? What would he really think if you found out all this and you just kept scraping shit? What would that really do to him?
probably be disappointed in me.
And you've had enough of that.
I'm gonna throw the fucking brush. Not at anyone, just throw it.
I was like, where?
Roll a d20,
I'm good.
add your dexterity, and then for the fun of it, a d4.
Oh no.
She's got proficiency in brush drawing.
Everyone has proficiency in brush throwing.
Go play.
My bad. Forgot.
I'm going to hold you to that later.
Improvised weapons.
We have it on record.
Nat 20.
Holy shit.
Bro. Dude.
Out of just blinding anger, you stand, you pull that brush behind you, and you throw it. And it smashes this woman right in the face. She falls right from his lap onto the deck with a thunk.
A fuck.
Some teeth.
I mean, maybe.
It's not 20, so.
You see that hit, and you don't feel a damn thing about it. The girl next to you is horrified. What do you do? That fire's still burning. You feel good. That is what should have been done.
I want to leave the hatch and look for my armor.
Okay. So you open that hatch and you go back down.
Yeah.
You slide back down and you start walking through that hallway. And as you do, people are, you see women changing. A couple of them poke their heads out and they see you and they can just read this energy off of you. And when you get to the end of the hall where you placed all of your armor, you see a dwarven woman, her hands on her hips, and she's tapping her toe. So, what happened up there?
Man, she found out fast.
I'm done
True.
scraping shit for people.
And she looks at you hard in the face. Good. It never should have been. And she walks away. You get your armor? It's been cleaned.
Okay.
Oh.
The underclothes have been cleaned. You see Tribute's armor next to it. You have your armor. You're welcome to change into it. What do you want to do now?
I'm gonna put my armor on. Is my weapon there?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm gonna leave. I'm just going back to the bar. Done with this place. I don't care anymore.
Okay.
Listen, you really think she's going to have patience for Addie when she gets back there?
Oh god. Or her brother.
I've been the nicest person to her. I don't know what you're talking
Back at the bar. Are the two of you doing anything? You've placed your hat out. You see, let's do this. Roll a d20.
Okay.
Let's see how well your scam's going.
Am I adding anything to it?
Nope.
5.
5. People have been throwing money in your hat, but more people have been up to his.
Oh, that's fine. It's not a competition at all.
You win regardless. You peer in, and at a quick count, it looks like you've gotten probably about 5 or 6 gold.
Hey.
I'm gonna let it sit a little longer.
Okay. You hear that tapping once again on the table.
Goddamn Ladley.
You peer back over your shoulder, and you see that you've drawn his attention quite a bit.
Oh yeah. In a good way or bad way?
You'd have to ask.
So he's watching me
Yeah.
watch the hat. Wanna give a slight wave?
He waves back. Smiles.
I'm gonna point at the hat and point at him, saying like, "You want any of this? I'll cut you in."
Oh my god.
He stands up and he walks in front of you.
Okay.
So you can't see what he's doing. But you see him lean over. He places something in the hat. And he leaves.
Alright. Can I peer in the hat?
You see he's placed 3 matchsticks in the hat in the shape of a triangle.
Oh. Let me refer to my guide.
That's the good symbol.
That's the safe place.
And he goes to walk out.
Oh, that the use can?
Yep.
Oh, man. I want to use the use can.
And he goes to walk out.
I don't know,
I'm gonna let him.
put like a mouse
Okay.
in there or something. Like, just a real fuck you.
Just leaves a dead bird in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just condoms. That's fine.
Not the Tabaxi. It's not a dead bird or my mouse.
He comes back for it later. And I need that. I'm sorry. Adela, is there anything you want to do while you're in the bar?
Do I see where Addie is?
Roll perception.
Okay. I say probably not, but hey, we'll try anyways. That'll be
It's a low check.
11.
That's enough.
Oh, alright.
You see Addie sitting at the front of the bar, front of the room near the stage. You see him sitting there.
There's still no one at the table?
More people have come to sit at that table. The table that the man had gotten up and left is filled up, but there seems to be some standing space nearby.
I'm gonna head over that way.
Okay. You get over to the table and you still have the feeling of eyes on you, of curiosity of what it is or who it is you are. But you arrive at the table.
So kind of just lean over there. Just observe a little bit, see what's going on.
Oh, it's the murderer. Hey, what's up?
Just wanted a friendly face.
Oh, wow.
Everyone else is kind of staring.
I wonder why.
I
I have no idea.
got approached by a very strange man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Something about a treasure and underwater and splitting riches. I don't know. I told him maybe me and the rest of the party or whoever would go seek him tomorrow.
The party.
I don't know.
Are you referring to my part of that?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, you're the only one I've actually talked to.
Oh.
The other one lectured me, and the other one really hasn't said much.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
You seem like you like riches anyway, so.
What gave you that idea?
I don't know, and I kind
Wanna-
of glance at the
Or we're both gonna look at the hat.
Mhm.
I'm just keeping my eye on it, making sure.
Mhm.
Still filling up.
Got some ramen flavoring packets in there.
Someone sort of expired bus tickets in there. They thought it was a trash bag. The one weird thing you noticed in there was kind of like a really nice, like an out of place nice button. It's weird.
Alright.
It's a button.
I'll check that out when I collect the hat, which not yet. I'm waiting.
There you go.
Maybe you can use to
Man,
button
be
your
careful,
hood.
Icarus.
Flying too close to the sun. That button's gonna get me in trouble, man.
And I press the button, and it's actually one of those things you get at Texas Roadhouse. It vibrates when your table's ready.
I was gonna say the no button. There's the button there you go and you press it and it says no and it
It's-
yells at you.
It's a that was easy button.
Yeah.
You press
my
it, and it
God.
goes, well, that was easy.
But it shouts it like 10 times louder than it should be.
Like it's over my dead. It was terrible. Anything else, you two? Back at the brothel, a half elf storming out.
Can I retcon to me not leaving? I forgot I wanted to do something else.
You can always come back.
Okay.
But we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave with you leaving now.
Okay.
Tomorrow's a new day. You can always go to the brothel tomorrow.
Okay.
Back at the brothel, the show is going on. People are getting close. People are beginning to tear up with a fucking 26 and a 23. And as you're singing through this sad, sad song, which you're doing well, the sadness, the sultry, but you remember It's distant, and it's maybe something you've been putting off, or maybe just your sake. But you did smell it again. It was a long time since you had smelled that desert lily. You had been performing for a time you'd learned to live without. You and your mom were offered jobs by the local lords. Just a couple dinner parties here and there. You were fed scraps. You were given what they would like to call pooled wine. It was whatever wine was brought back. The servants, they would pour it together in a larger jug, and they would drink it. Had mixed results. But free wine was free wine. But you remember those days of performing and learning and furtive glances off to the side. And you can remember that time you smelt it. You remember all at once those words he'd said. The smell of destiny. Love at first sight. You can remember that smell the last time. And the first time you had walked into the lady's bedchambers. And your heart burns. It burns with sadness and longing and rage and passion, with need and desire. It all burns at once. And it feels like it could just explode. And when you're coming to the highest part of the song, when you come to the grandest part of the song, that fire burns in you brighter than it has in a long time as you think about that first time in those chambers. What do you want to do with that? In the middle of your song.
Man. A lot of it's just kind of like the show's got to go on. I've made a lot of efforts over the years to try and control those feelings. And as a performer, I can't let them get in the way. So I'm just going to kind of swallow them and try and keep singing the best that I can.
Roll madness check.
Sweet. I love those.
Breeze, roll a perception check.
Oh, man.
Ooh. Crit fail.
Right about.
Sweet. Welcome to the list.
I say, did you put her one nat 20 down?
Hey. Oops, that's not the
My
right call.
second roll of the game. Crit fail. That's a
Boy.
bad omen.
Man,
first nat 20
let's see if you die at the end.
Yes, it is.
That was my first nat 20 of this campaign.
Stay away from me a little bit.
You're not winning crit fails, though.
I'm kind of good at accidentally hitting
I
everyone's
know.
splash damage.
It's not card.
Katie's
That's
also
why.
winning nat
Please
20s, so I mean...
I don't try to.
So,
It happens.
Just don't
High risk, high
hold
reward.
on a second, guys. So, at the height of the song, it's all swelling up in you, and you're doing your best to swallow it down. But you can't. The thing that you have been fighting for, the thing that gives you the very life you live, is all swollen back into you, and you can't swallow it down.
I'm gonna kind of change the pace of the song.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and do it a little subtly, so as I'm doing it, you can maybe pick up on it. Although
Crit fail.
if his perception check applies to this,
That was something else completely.
okay. But I'm gonna try and bring it around to something more familiar for my old sake.
Okay. Go ahead and both of you roll performance checks with advantage.
Oh my god!
So, my best one was
Can I redeem my inspiration?
Do you have one?
Yeah.
Give it a roll.
If you roll another fucking 2,
Did you roll two twos?
there we go. I did roll 2 2s in a row. So that is a
Makes you a ballerina.
24 instead. That was worth it.
24, would you roll? 10?
Yeah.
You change the pace of the song. What are you changing it from? Sad and sultry. What are you changing it to?
Whitney Houston.
Yo. Gonna do somebody in the
To something more familiar to me, something that I would have performed at more during those times. So kind of being sultry, but less sad.
That's me.
Right.
Oh.
With that build, you bring it to the height of the song, and when you bring it back down for a slow finish, everyone is silent, and eventually people just kind of stop and And they look at one another, and you just get a small clap. And it doesn't, and you've bombed before as you're a performer, it happens. There's something different about this. It's a quiet clap, like people don't wanna break that moment that's in the air now. Between the two of you both being performers, you know that's beyond a standing ovation.
Can I roll a perception check to see if from behind if I can see like any emotion in her or anything like that?
Roll an insight.
Insight. So I do. This may be 9.
You can't really tell as you're kind of looking, as you're kind of seeing her from the back. You now feel a comfort. You're reminded of that passion of the life that you breathe, of why you're doing all of this. And you find comfort in that now. You feel emotionally, physically reinforced. Like you'd had a breakthrough on something. That something had built and built until it hurt and you're able to break through. And there's a satisfaction. There's a levity. And there's most certainly a job well done. The two of you walk off stage.
I like give like a little bow to the crowd, and when I stand up, I'm going to be standing a little bit taller than I was before.
Okay. And for you?
I'll give a little bow, as good as I can with my whole equipment. I'll slink off.
Jangle off.
Clink, clink, clink. As you walk off stage, the silence is beginning to break. Chatter starting to come back a little bit. You guys look over and you see a furious pirate woman yelling at a couple people. But there's a loud sound, a crashing noise. It sounds like this moment in time, this stained glass moment is just shattered by a cannonball with furious screams of panic. Hey, you can't go up there! You hear the voice of the dwarf woman. I told you I'd come up for you. You better get down here. The voice retorts, no, I'm invited. And barreling up through the stairs, there is a large Tabaxi dressed in a beautiful gown. I know one of the musicians. You can't do this to me.
And seeing him, I go, Frisky!
Please! I'm sorry! And he runs to you with his arms extended wide.
And I put my arms down.
He stops about halfway and goes, no! And he is immediately tackled by the dwarf and brought to the ground. His claws extended, he grabs onto the deck and he says, you won't have this party without me! I deserve to be here! And she's just grabbing his legs and dragging him back down.
And as she's dragging him, I'm like, hey, you owe me 5 gold.
And he goes, you! And he is taken back.
Just stand there like, because I've never seen this man in my life.
And he is drugged below deck.
I'm so happy.
Cass,
Yes.
you've gotten back to the bar.
Oh yeah.
You open the doors and you see Kaz in a rare moment where he's composed. No, he's not composed.
Is he shaking his butt at the crowd again?
No, but his legs are fully saddled and he's jumping back and forth, singing what could only be offensive to anybody else, unless he was doing it as well as he did. But he is on stage. It's fairly dark.
You're just up there singing boats and homes.
You can tell that
She thinks so, maybe.
he's playing a very kind of like a very seaworthy tune, but he's just gibbering. Like never have you ever heard him sing something like this. And he's just gibbering and people are enthralled by it. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna find an empty table, or not an empty table, but like an empty chair.
Okay, you can find one near the back.
Just start throwing your hips around.
Actually, no, I'm gonna go to the bar because I need a drink.
Okay. A grizzled human is at the bar. And she looks to you and she says, tough night?
Yeah.
I got what you need. Comes back from behind and She puts a glass in front of you. It's on the house.
Thank you.
You're welcome. She walks away.
I'm gonna drink it.
All right, roll me a Constitution saving throw. As we see what happens if you succeed or fail Jungle Blood.
I knew it!
This is what you get.
Oh, it's that bigger. Accepting drinks from strangers.
Hey! That is 21.
Fucking crush that. I guess we don't find out what happens. You drink this down, as it seems to be an amount that you don't sip on, something you just kind of shoot really quick, but a bit more. I think a double shot and a half. You drink this down and it tingles. It's like a cool tingling all the way down, like you've just chewed and swallowed a bunch of spearmint gum. And it tingles all down, and to be honest, it's a very poor mix of several fruit juices. But as you tingle it down, you kind of just blink, and when you open your eyes, it's a bit more colorful than when you blinked before. And then you blink again, and it's like your dark vision stopped working. Then you quickly shake your head and blink again, and it's back. But you feel okay. It's taken the edge off. If not a bit worrisome of it. But it's taken the edge off.
Just gonna go sit down where it's safe in a chair.
You go to sit in chair. Cass stops monkeying around the stage, and he stops, and he kind of tunes his lute a little bit, and he says, "Oh, now I'm gonna sing y'all a shanty about not enough bread." And he goes back to singing. And just as he begins, the door crashes open. And standing at those doors there, like it stopped him from playing Everyone Is Turned, you see there's this tall, lean, well-dressed figure with his hair pushed back, a mustache and a beard. He stands and he just exclaims, "Warrior of passion, I've waited for you my whole life, and I will not be denied my destiny now." And he, just pushing people out of the way, charges the stage. Kaz goes, "What?" And the man just grabs his face and pulls him in for the most passionate kiss he has maybe ever delivered in his life.
You guys can't see it, but I'm bicycle kicking under the table. Holy shit.
Kaz drops his lute and just leans forward.
He leans into it?
Oh, he leans into it. Yeah. You'd say, oh, yeah. He didn't roll good.
Kaz took a bullet for you.
But no English for you, yeah.
Do you want to do anything, guys?
I do.
Okay, we'll come back around you in a minute, Addy.
He beamed his wife in the face with a brush, and he just immediately fell in love.
No, wife.
Listen,
Definitely not his wife.
No.
I feel like the only response is just going, "Excuse me?"
He pulls back. Addy, what do you want to do?
I wanted to get my hat.
Just yours.
distraction.
Honestly.
Yeah, you don't even have to roll for that.
Everyone else is so distracted by everything else.
No. See, you said don't be an Icarus. I'm not trying to get too greedy. I just want what's mine.
If I was you, I'd get both hats.
Man, but he'll notice the hat's gone. He just got kissed by a rando dude. He deserves whatever's in that fucking hat.
He deserves whatever he gets, please. You pull back your hat. You have 8 gold pieces,
Okay.
3 silver pieces,
Nice button.
a nice button,
Okay.
and 6 copper pieces.
Okay, you
That's a lot
said
of money,
8, 3,
man.
6.
8 gold.
You rolled a 23 on his performance.
Yeah.
That's as much gold as I have on my person total.
Yeah.
Well, they really like his style of sea shanty.
And I cashed in on that. I'm his manager now.
You yell, "Excuse me," and he pulls his face back and looks over to the crowd, and it's silent. And the crowd just a roar of cheer. And just, everyone is cheering at this, and he just pulls Kaz in closer, and he just hugs him closely, and he whispers something, and Kaz just starts starts panicking, and he's just what do you want to do?
I'm gonna jump on stage. So, excuse me, can you unhand my brother?
And he goes, what? And he pulls back. He says, by the gods, I've been blessed. There's two of you. Kaz steps back, grabs his loot. He walks off stage. You were the one on the ship, right?
Yes.
I have never in all my life seen someone with such fire and passion. I have waited my whole life to meet someone like you.
That's nice.
What is your name?
Cass?
Cass, what a beautiful name. Must be sung by angels.
Not really.
Please, don't be so modest. A modesty befitting someone of your caliber is truly a beautiful trait. Perhaps we should get off stage and talk.
I guess. Sure.
And he steps off stage first, and he raises his hand to take yours to walk off stage.
I'm just gonna step down. I'm just like, thank you.
Adding the dog?
Yes.
You're sitting there
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You're sitting there and you're watching this. Is there anything the two of you want to do?
I like that you're staring really hard at me. But no.
No? All right.
Have fun.
Thanks.
Here's a condom.
The two of you are off stage. The interruption has been quelled.
I like that word.
And the night continues.
Are we still with them or back at us?
Yeah.
Back with you guys.
Okay. Quickly, I remove my bongos and flute. I keep my loot on me. And it's like on a strap, so I just turn the strap around so it's behind me. And then I find Tribute. And I say, what's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Tribute.
You are amazing. And seeing as I'm out of a partner right now, could we play again sometime?
Your compliment is flattering. You were quite good as well. I'm afraid I don't.
Don't flatter me. I'm a beginner. I'm an amateur. I got really lucky there. Speaking of which, and you carried me, so I'll leave the trip.
Nonsense.
No. I put my arm around you and drag you to the bar. And I go to the bartender. Bartender!
Turning around, you both recognize Saywin.
Ah.
She's like, isn't it convenient I'm here?
I guess so.
You both did well. Have your drink. Meet me in my office when you're ready.
Thank you. Can I have 4 jungle bloods?
I'm afraid you'd need to get that from the dish rag bar down the way.
Damn.
Shattered.
I've heard it. Okay. I just get 2 of your exotic drink, then, please.
We call
Sure.
this milk. No.
She whispers something to another bartender who begins to mix a few drinks. And she turns around with a small shot of something orange and a strange fruit.
Okay. 1 or 2?
1.
Ask for 2.
She says, oh, my mistake. And she prepares another shot and another fruit.
Thank you. I hand 1 to Tribute.
Please, really, I don't.
Just this once. Just this once. It's on me. Just this once.
I haven't in years.
That's just this one time. You haven't. It's clear you haven't sung in years.
That is true.
But just this one night. After this, I'll never ask again. I promise. I give you the big kitty cat eyes. You can't resist.
The Puss in Boots eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't resist.
You've clearly practiced that a lot, but no
You
thank
can't resist.
Madness check.
Persuasion check.
Only Sarah
I'm not a
will.
furry, so no.
I said persuasion, not seduction. Gosh.
You take your shots, eat your fruit.
Yeah, not taking.
All right. Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Nat 20.
Wow.
Okay. With that, you're instructed to see Saywin now that you're done with your show.
I've had 3 rolls. 3 rolls. One's been a crit fail. And one's been a nat 20.
Making your mark on the board.
You're instructed to see Sablin. You can make your way to her office.
Do we have to make our way to her office now, or can we...
If you want to get paid.
Okay. I guess I'll go to the office then.
Okay. The two of you head to the office. Do you go down and get your armor?
I was gonna do that.
Oh.
Second.
Then I'll go grab... Before we go, I'll go to my chair and get all my stuff in my bag and grab my pack and stuff.
Since she expressed such distaste for how we were before, I figured I might as well go ahead and put her in.
Okay. Good call. The two of you arrive at her door. The door is cracked open, as if she were expecting you.
I'm gonna knock on the door frame anyway.
And I'll just walk in.
I knock on the door frame, he walks in, I stand there like with my fist in the air.
I look back like, what are you doing?
Polite and impatient. What an odd couple, you two. You did very well for the night. I could not have asked for better. Your friend, however, I think she did the best. Your debt for the man is paid in full. Believe me. For you, it was a hearty performance. You earned your gold. She put 7 gold pieces up.
I thought we negotiated 8.
We didn't.
Okay.
Oh.
Nice try.
Now, you have your armor. You have your things. Get out.
Take my gold, put it in my pouch, give an extremely elaborate bow, take my leave.
You and your friend are welcome back anytime. I appreciate your efforts.
Wait, I'm not welcome? I walked out of the door, but I could still hear, so I put my head back in. I'm not welcome?
If you're willing to work
Always.
with her, you're welcome back anytime. Holly downstairs, she'll help you to get your armor. If you need anything of her, you can ask. She'll be happy to help you. Stop by sometime, Madam Paladin. It's good to have your company.
Thank you so much for your hospitality and for your help.
You're welcome.
I'm going to give her a little bow and take my leave.
The two of you meet outside. What do you guys want to do?
I want to walk over to the other bar.
Okay. Back to the shipwrecked.
Yes.
How late is it?
You're probably coming around to be about 1 o'clock.
Then I still don't.
I suppose.
Okay. I'm mostly nocturnal.
I meant to ask Holly where Cass was.
Oh, she would tell you that. She stormed out.
I guess I'm gonna also go to the bar, if only because I want to see if that's where Cass is first.
Okay.
I want to make sure she's okay.
The two of you get to the bar. You see Cass sitting at a table with a pretty well-dressed man. He has been very flattering of you. He has spoke of his journey of traveling the seas, of having a dream that he would meet of a warrior whose heart burned so bright that it would push away the darkness of the bleakest clouds, of the greatest evils, that passion could burn so bright that it could grow trees from sand.
I think you have the wrong person.
And you just cannot convince him of... You know what? Roll a persuasion. Let's see if you can convince him of this. That it is his life's work, and that you are clearly the goal that he's worked his life to.
7.
Nope. He applauds your modesty.
While this is happening, I just walk up to the stage. I'm not playing anything, I just on the stage.
Okay. You walk up to the stage.
I already have my hat.
Yeah. He's grabbed his hat. You're up on stage. You're up by the stage.
I set aside an empty little sack
Okay.
in front of me, very
Okay.
close, clear view. And I, in a nice, loud voice, I say, so, I'm going to play you guys a song of my people. A song I've heard many a time around many a campfire. So, here's Wall of Wonder.
I'm going to roll to see if you die instantly. Let's take a look.
No, I don't know. For some reason, when you're thinking that you're Tabaxi, I suddenly got like the start of Circle of Life stuck in my head. I don't know why.
I said not nat 20.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna like start singing the Nyan Cat song or something like.
My people have many songs.
Did you put your armor back on?
Yes.
What's your AC?
13.
I rolled an 8. Does a 23 hit your armor?
Shit.
A bald human who looks a lot like me throws a glass of water at your fucking face for playing Wonderwall on my campaign. Everyone give me all of your D8s.
Can I roll a
No.
what's the chicken say? I can dodge it?
No. It's the world's biggest glass. It shatters and you die. Fucking Wonderwall.
I said I got the opening of Circle Life stuck in my head.
You stand up on stage. You begin to play the world's worst song. And people are more receptive to it than you might think. You are given a trivial amount of money, largely coppers. You do deserve it for rolling it. But this is really kind of rounding out the night, and people are beginning to leave. As you play them out, you are going to get 13 silver pieces, which amounts to 8 gold and a silver. The man gets up. He tries to hold your hand.
I'm still just kind of like...
And he says, "My name is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
I obviously work at the rocking ship. I don't have to work tomorrow night. Usually after a night like this, we usually take a day or two off, so I would be happy to come back to see you, if you would allow me."
Okay, sure.
And he just smiles and tucks his head down. And, "Great. How about tomorrow night at dusk?
Okay.
It's a date." And he turns and walks away.
Do I see her look of a woman in distress?
Roll an insight.
4.
She looks like she's got the vapors.
Then Cass comes over and says, I see you shook your hips.
Yeah. You look over at Cass, he's still like, wow. Wow.
All that. And Kaz still got more action than me.
Anything else for the night?
We're gonna go make sure Cass is okay.
He's caught.
Considering I heard that she stormed out of the rocking ship.
And I'm gonna, after I finish my song, I'm gonna follow her around and keep pestering her to be my partner.
Okay, this will be during your play. Do you guys want to take a moment to talk about it?
Sure.
Did everything go okay? You left so much earlier.
Threw a brush at someone's face.
You what?
Well, I'm just tired of cleaning up shit for other people. I just got so angry about people thinking they're better than everyone else, and I just may have accidentally thrown a brush at a woman's face. And now some guy thinks I'm like a warrior of passion. I think I said yes to a date that I didn't want, and I don't know if anything's okay. I drank a really weird dream that like did things to my eyesight. It's been a bad night for you.
I'm gonna like put my hand on your shoulder. If it means anything, I don't think the captain of the ship is angry with you.
Oh, that's good.
She seemed rather impressed. You must have really thrown that brush.
I'm surprised, but I'm glad that it turned out best. I was kind of worried about that. Also, the guy who thinks I'm like a warrior of passion may have kissed my brother thinking it was me.
If he's bothering you, I can chase him off.
He seems confused but harmless at the moment. I'll take you up on that offer if it gets scarier.
If you ever decide you need him gone.
I'm talking to Tribute, and as she's
I mean, like,
adamantly been saying no. I'm like, nice armor. So, since you won't accept my drink, I have to repay you in some way, because that's more gold than I've made in the last 2 months at that establishment, or any establishment for that matter. So, is there any way I can repay you for that?
I mean, certainly you don't have to.
I must.
I'm
Well,
not
we
sure.
could always just get some jungle blood. We're at the right bar now.
I told you I've quit drinking.
It's not even drinking; it's experiencing.
I mean,
You can't get it anywhere else.
it's still an alcoholic beverage.
Is it really though?
It kind of sounds like one.
It's blood.
A loud voice comes out.
That makes it worse.
A loud voice comes out. Hey, you two. You look over. You see the large orcish woman. We're closing down for a few hours. The fuck out of my bar.
All right.
Looks over at you and she narrows her eyes.
I shuffle faster.
All right.
I was gonna say something smart, but I don't feel like getting my ass kicked by an orcish woman, so...
Where's everyone going?
Back to my room.
Let's go left to right. So Addie's last, so we can find out where everyone's sleeping.
I've got my room.
So you've got your room, the chemist's room. All right. So you have.
you had the Goliath room.
Yeah, I think I had the Goliath
Oh, then you have the Goliath room.
because that was the last one. It was the
It's the
cleanest.
cleanest room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
has the
Yes.
chemist room. So you go to the Goliath room.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of papers kind of strewn about.
Yeah.
The bed looks like it's just kind of all of the beds are just sacks with feathers in them. This one is certainly flat against the frame. Where are you going?
Seeing as
Breeze?
I lost my room.
When you walk out of the bar, you see Frisky. He's changed out of his beautiful gown and he has a bag by his side and he's just kind of sitting in the sand looking up at the moon. He's a fair distance away. You don't have to talk to him, but I just wanted to let you know he's out there.
I'm gonna go talk to Frisky.
Okay.
I'm gonna go talk to Frisky.
I'll come back around. Where you sleeping tonight, Tribute?
My tiefling bro already offered me a room. I might see if he'll let me crash on his floor.
Okay. You go out to his room. I don't know if I ever defined a room, but he's on row 2, room 7. You knock on the door and he comes to answer it. You see that he's wearing a long gown. Very traditional. Kind of a unisex gown, but it's long, it's blue, it has stripes on it. And he's got a little hat. Extends out with a small cotton ball at the
Have
edge.
little like holes for his horns in it.
And it's pretty obvious that he tried to cut holes for his horns, but as they kind of come out and reel back, and he tried to kind of put the hat on, he just forced them through in frustration. And now it's just kind of hanging off of his horns. He looks to you and he smiles and he just kind of steps back and allows you in. He lays back onto his mattress and he pushes off the blanket and the pillow for you.
Thank you. I am sorry it's so late. It's a long story.
It's fine. You're young and get out and it's where we're at, I understand. If I were 30 years younger, I'd be out too.
I wish I were having that much fun. And I'm gonna take off my armor and go to sleep.
And he climbs in his bed and he sleeps too. Cats?
Go in my brother's room.
Okay. Actually, the two of you are getting the key at the same time.
Okay.
Actually, he's getting the key. He's instructed you to wait outside. When he comes out, he has the key, and the two of you go to the room. And he looks at you and he says, I heard you were doing a little bit of work clearing out the rooms. Are they nice?
I didn't exactly see some of the earlier rooms, but I doubt it.
Yeah, we just slept on a boat for 5 days filled with water. How bad could it be? And he opens it, and he sees that the bed has been stripped. All of the blankets have been tied in knots, and they're all kind of sitting inside of small containers, small vats, like he's been testing with them. He looks at you and he goes, looks good to me. And he goes in and he jumps onto the bed.
Which one did they have?
The chemist.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna find a nice place on the floor, I guess.
Addie.
There's 2 things I want to do.
All right.
So, one involves you, and the other involves you, but I want it to happen after you have your conversation with Frisky. I don't want to interrupt that very conversation.
Guess I'm gonna open it.
Knock on the door. It had only been a couple minutes. Cass sits there and goes,
gonna be like, no room.
I'm
Knocking.
gonna open the door.
Hey.
Hi. You okay?
No, it's been a very long, hard day.
Oh, I feel.
There's
the door.
Can I stay here for the night?
I mean, if you can find a place on the floor, I guess it's okay.
You look back at the floor, there's no more room than for one other person. You'd have to really cuddle up.
You have nowhere else to go?
No. I'll roll a deception if you want me to.
If you want to.
Do you want an insight or?
Well, I feel like you wouldn't have a reason to lie.
Right? Not me.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. I'll be back in a little bit. I have some business to attend to. But I'll be back.
Okay,
I really appreciate this.
no problem.
I'm gonna walk away. And then you can.
Kaz is like sitting up in the bed. And he just kind of very calmly gets up and goes, "You've had a hard day. Why don't you take the bed?"
You sure?
Yeah, I mean, I just was cutting fish heads. But I had a great performance. Why don't you take the bed?
Okay. Don't get mad at me. I may have scraped shit today. Like, again. But literal shit.
Well, I'm sure you had a good reason.
Yeah.
You know, you're not I don't think you're the type of person who would go back to that life.
No, I kind of threw a brush at someone, so that's out.
Did you hit him?
Yeah.
Did they die?
No.
What a shame. Who knows? That might have counted.
Count what?
You know.
Oh,
list?
right, yeah.
Does it say on there, throw a brush so hard you kill someone?
No, it doesn't. I
Oh.
don't think that falls under any of those categories.
Mine did. I said, who could throw a brush that hard?
Sure it did.
Is he coming back?
Yeah, he's got nowhere else to go, so I said he can sleep on the floor.
And he lays on the floor and he goes, okay.
Oh my god.
He sits on the floor and he just kind of spaces out the floor and he moves stuff so that there's space for Addie. Addie.
Oh, I wanted to.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Let me jump with you. All right, so you and Frisky are on the beach.
If I walk over, Frisky's sitting down, and I walk over and sit next to him and just say, "Hey,
Hey.
you okay?"
Yeah, I'm good.
Sorry about earlier.
No, you are doing your thing, and you know I tend to over-dramatize things.
You very, very much do, but it's okay.
I appreciate that. I caught some of the performance from downstairs.
How was it?
I liked it. I thought it was very good. A bit sad for me, but I might have been mistaken. A lot of people were screaming at me at the time. So,
You gotta tell me, why were they screaming at you at the time?
well, they said at the door, a small dwarven woman who's very rude. I dislike her. She said, "Oh, no, you can't come in here. You look like crap." And I said, "Well, you look like crap, bitch." And she got very, very upset.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have said that.
She shouldn't have said that. I look fantastic. I
You do.
looked fantastic. Exactly. Oh, I dislike her. I said, move, and she said no, and I said, and she didn't do anything. So I pushed past her and I ran.
Well, you lost yourself that job, so
Well, I wasn't looking for a job. I was looking to watch you play. I know we had a bit of an argument, but I do think you're extremely talented, and I thought it would be good to see you play.
well, I appreciate that, but I think our time of companionship is over.
Yes, I suppose.
It was fun. Maybe we'll see each other again.
It was beautiful. And so were you.
I wouldn't go that far.
He leans in for a kiss.
I'd back away.
Oh, you had, and then he just kind of like flicked something up. I was just, okay, yeah.
Stand up. I don't say another word and walk away.
Okay. And he just sits and looks at the moon.
From the shadows, I would
Thanks,
like
pal.
to ring my bell.
I am at this table.
I'm trying to catch his attention without him seeing me since it's like dark. Wanted to kind of
again.
lure him with the bell again. And if he, doesn't see where it's from, I'd like to use my mirror on a stick and kind of catch the moonlight.
He doesn't go for it. He clearly hears it, but he doesn't go for it.
Try flicking the light at him.
Once he kind of looks over and he sees that Breeze is out of sight, he just kind of puts his head into his arms and between his knees.
Aw.
Flicking the light at him still.
He doesn't see it.
All right, last resort. I'm going to take those keys and chuck them at him.
Go and make a ranged attack.
I was trying to do something nice, and he's being all sad and shit.
I mean, you could walk up to him like a normal person.
No,
No.
I don't want him to know I'm giving them back. Am I proficient?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. That would be a...
Okay. You throw it and it just bounces off his back. He kind of looks up very suddenly and looks around him. Go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Okay.
He is looking hard for who threw that, and he will try to perceive you.
That is a 19.
Yeah, you destroy that. He looks down and he sees the keys. He goes, Is this a gift for Frisky? And he holds him and he pulls him to his chest, looks at him and goes, Thank you, cat god! Gift for Frisky! And he runs to the docks.
I love him.
I'm going to return back to Cass's room. I did what I wanted.
Okay.
He deserves that cat piss room. I don't care.
He peed in it. It's his.
Yep.
You arrive back at
Hooray.
the room. You knock on the door, and Kaz just kind of very nicely spreads his hand and points to the floor where you see Cass is lying in the bed. It says, Get comfortable. I'll work around you.
Fair enough. We'll do it.
And he lays right next to you. He lays on his side, staring at you.
I'm going to turn my back to him and pull the cape around.
So everyone finds sleep. Cass, as your hard day ends, as you're nodding off, you return to that memory. The food, of the party, of the fun, all kind of coming to this end. No cakes, no snacks. Terrible breakfast. You remember walking back to the door, your bag full of discarded food. A little hand from the table kind of waves at you. And when you walk over to it, you see Kaz. And in his hand is kind of a smushed, folded cupcake. And he sits down and he tears it in half. And he gives you the half. And you both sit behind the table and eat. Everyone finds rest. The morning comes. The market's back in full swing. Come to around 9 o'clock. You all wake up, don your armor. You have a date tonight, Cass. And everyone is everyone has something they want to do today. The job board is up. Adela, you're supposed to go down to the docks to talk to the dwarf. Before we ended this, Cass and Tribute were supposed to try to talk to the rest of your friends, try to get them to go along with the job. But if there's anything else you guys want to do, inquire about, talk to anyone, let's talk about it. Let's start with Addie. Is there anything specific you wanted to do?
No, I had a very perplexed face when you said everyone wanted to do things. I was like, I did?
I mean,
I was hoping you'd refresh my memory, because I didn't think I did.
You wanted to go hunt Kenju.
oh,
No, I had decided against that when it was
I had a-
murdering people for their blood.
yeah.
So we're clear, it's not
originally tried
people,
to
like-
tell you
like
to
we're-
go, but
Okay, all right.
It's just giant lizard monsters.
Not my kind of thing.
Is there anything specific you want to do, or do you want to head to the bar for breakfast? Everyone who had a room, you have to pay again for your next night's stay. You were asked to pay at breakfast. 2 silver.
Oh my god.
I slipped Lestelle a silver since I stayed in his room that night.
I got our room for tonight. You okay with that? Since you let me sleep there last night.
Yeah, sure.
Lestelle smiles and he goes up to the bar to pay.
I'm gonna hand my 2 silver to Kaz and tell him to pay, since I'm not supposed to be sharing rooms.
Aren't you guys sleeping there for free? I mean, not that Addie would know.
Yeah, Kaz is like, "You're too kind," and he takes the silver.
Yeah, that's exactly. Eddie wouldn't know. That's why I'm like, here you go.
So the two of you, did you want to head to the bar for breakfast?
I mean, we gotta eat too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's reasonable to assume that other people would be there as well.
And Adela.
Go into the bar.
So at the bar, all of you kind of migrate to the same table, sitting with people you find familiar. Estelle will sit at the table with you guys.
Yay. So about that shark we talked about yesterday.
What shark? Oh,
Well, remember
right.
we said
the
we were going
shark.
to go
Yes,
diving
I
for
can talk to
treasure,
them.
And you
Yes.
said that we weren't allowed to fight the shark.
Yes.
Is anybody interested in treasure?
Always.
I got approached by a strange man last night. Said something about docks and Meryl and I don't know.
That's our guy.
Oh, alright.
That just makes it more convenient. He already knows you.
Yeah. I think I heard him mumble something about, I told him the job wouldn't be there, but I don't.
So we're all in.
Did you have plans for today?
Cass, what are you doing?
This.
I was gonna do the treasure today.
Oh, that's all you're
Apparently, I have a date tonight that I didn't want.
What?
Are you sure you don't need me to, like...
Maybe like be on
I'll be
standby.
there.
Okay.
If you don't want this date, why would you?
I mean,
I feel like you should only ever be with people you want to be with.
he just seems confused. I want to try to tell him I'm not who he thinks I am.
Oh, so it's not a date.
Well,
It's more of a letdown?
well, I agreed to go to meet him, and then he was like, "Good, it's a date."
Oh, he did that. It's
Yeah.
so not classy.
Yeah,
I know.
it's like how some guys in school will use that to trick you.
Man, it's the worst thing you could do, honestly. It's disgusting. Honestly revolting. I don't know where you're going.
I mean,
Yeah, guys who try and coerce women against their will. Worst type of people.
None that assume, too.
Estelle pipes up, "Oh, you have a date tonight? That's beautiful. Beautiful reader myself, and there's many stories of fate chances and destinies crossing paths. Just beautiful stories of love and war and things like that. I think that's very nice."
yeah, well, he thinks I'm some, like, warrior of passion? That I can, like, grow trees from sand or something? I don't really understand it.
Well, it sounds like perhaps you're taking that too literally, maybe? I mean, unless you can grow trees from sand.
I can't. My brother's teaching me magic, but I can't do it yet.
He's just Kaz is just kind of sitting like his head down, just scarfing food down, and Lestel looks over and goes, "You have a fine teacher, indeed."
Lestell's got jokes.
If you don't think you're right for him, perhaps let him down easy. He sounds like a man of passion.
Yeah, I kind of got that.
And if he doesn't seem to want to let it go, you can always lie. There's nothing wrong with that.
But I'm a bad liar.
I'll help. What? I happen to be good at things. Anyway, to answer your earlier question, no, I'm not doing anything today, and this sounds lovely.
Sweet. Unified party.
Everyone keeps saying that.
Breeze. All right, so you head to the Starboard Market, famous for having people who are very aggressive but very honest about what they sell. That reputation is spreading far and wide. Those of you in the bar, you have decided to go to the Starboard Market to take the job from Muriel. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, everyone who has to pay for their room, deduct 2 silver.
I deducted the stuff I gave to Kaz.
2 silver. And 1 silver from tribute. Kaz finishes his meal. He stands up. He pulls his hair back. And he looks to you and he says, I guess I'm going back to chopping heads.
Had fun with that.
Yep. I'm getting pretty good with it, though.
That's good. I'm going to go find treasure underwater with a bowl that apparently has air in it, so I'm sorry if I don't ever come back.
That's cool. Good luck.
Thanks.
I guess asking you not to drown would be...
I'll try my best.
Good. Excellent. And he just kind of pats you on the shoulder, and he says, hey, good luck. He's going to give you Bardic Inspiration.
Okay.
It only lasts for 10 minutes. So you all take off to the starboard market. As you're walking up, let's just take this for you first, Breeze. As you're walking into the starboard market, you see that the crowd has already become pretty dense. The shops have opened up a few hours ago, and that first initial rush of people has already worn off. But it's always fairly dense as ships tend to come in and out of Bayside Wharf. It's a fairly popular refilling spot. As you walk around, there's plenty of vendors. There's a guy who's yelling, moderately fresh fish! Fresh yesterday, edible today! And he's pointing at people, and a couple people stop, and others move away. There's another guy who stands up and he yells, fruit that's less fresh than yesterday, but still edible today! And a man, seemingly splitting the people apart, comes running up to you. In each of his hands does he clench the hilts of several rusted swords, and he runs up to you, screaming at the top of his lungs, swords! What do you do?
I say, swords?
He says, yes, I have sea swords. Swords I found in the sea. They work well in the sea. Do you have a sea sword?
No, I have a sea staff, and I pull up my staff.
He says, I see your staff, but it is only a sea staff, and that I see it. It is not a sea staff. You need, and then he kind of turns around very quickly, and you hear just kind of like a fumbling noise, and he turns back around, and he has taken 3 swords that he has kind of bandaged together to make just sword to sword to sword to sword. He says, you need a sea staff swords. It's perfect. It's perfect for those who need sea staffs, but not swords.
And I said, don't get me wrong. I love me some swords.
Sea swords?
I love me some sea swords.
Okay. Then you want to buy them. It'll be...
I do not want to buy them.
Oh. Then you want to be at disadvantage on the sea. Do you know how many people die at sea because they don't have sea swords? They have the pathetic land swords.
You know what?
What?
Are you a well-traveled man?
I am.
Can I ask you a question?
No. Buy a sword.
I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
I pull out my little paper. Have you seen either of these 3? I point to just 3 little cats on paper. One that's like a little baby me. One that's a little black one with white paws and a little bit of white on his chest. And one that's all white. Have you seen either of these 2 little ones? They'd be grown up in their travels. If you can answer me, give me satisfactory information, I'll buy a sword.
He has this immediate look of surprise about looking at that picture. And he looks at you. Oh my God. You're a Tabaxi?
I just put my paper away and walk away.
No, wait! Tabaxi loves swords! Sea swords!
I'm walking away. He has to be following me. I'm just ignoring him from now on.
He doesn't. He just stands in his spot and yells at you.
Okay, then I walk away. I go to the fish one. I take a big whiff.
Okay, they smell.
A perception check to see if they smell rotten.
Give it a roll.
Good morning, ladies.
Wow. That worked.
They do smell a bit past prime, but the man stands there and he sees you and he says, discerning customer, but my fish, though a little, maybe perhaps a day old, are still fresh and full of those delicious vitamins that people crave.
Good thing I'm not people. And I walk away.
I think you're people. All right, where do you go next?
Are there any other stands? Anything that sells dried meat? I want some dried meat.
Oh yeah, there's a guy there's a guy who sells dried meat.
I go to the dried meat stand.
He goes, hey, do you want to buy some dried meat?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, all right, I can sell you some dried meat. Let's say a copper per piece of dried meat. Minimum, you have to buy 7 pieces.
Give me me see. How much copper is worth? Is it a gold worth?
Oh, gold.
Gold?
How much copper do I have? Because I have 18 gold and 1 silver. How do I break that into copper?
1 silver is 10 copper.
1 silver's 10 copper.
So
Okay.
1 gold is 100 copper.
Okay, give me 100.
God,
He
I
goes,
was joking.
and he goes, oh wow, that's a lot of copper.
Is that
Yeah,
all
man.
is that all your jerky?
He says, yeah, that's all the jerky I have.
Give me all your jerky. I'm going to need it. I don't want to have to buy food
He,
again.
he takes the gold and then he just leaves the stand.
How much jerky is it?
It's like a stand full of jerky. Think about like a 5 foot long, 3.5 foot wide, and then from that there are 2 poles that go up on both ends. It's completely made out of wood. There is
So probably about the size of this table.
yeah, it's about the size of the table, and then there is a roof, and they all have hooks from it, and it actually blocks the sun up. There's so much dried meat, and he just leaves. You now own all of that. That's all. You
Somebody
have
walks
all
up
of
to
that
you.
now.
How much for a piece of jerky?
Okay, fine. I'm just selling jerky now.
All right. Do you want to start selling jerky?
Yeah.
All right. You stand behind the counter. How are you gonna sell jerky?
Jerky here. Get your jerky here. 2 copper a piece. Fresh and dry.
As the 4 of you are walking down the dock, you see a familiar face standing behind a jerky stand, trying to sell jerky. What do you do?
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey. You get some jerky. Actually, for you, on my house.
I didn't realize you were a meat vendor as well.
I didn't either. I guess I'm a jack of all trades. Or at least trying to be.
No, you're a jerk of all trades.
Who are you?
Oh, you're selling jerky?
Want some?
Makes bad jokes.
No, I don't take meat from men.
How do you know I'm a man?
See your nipples. No.
Oh man! And then he just pushes her over. Damn! Is my penis detracted? Seeing that, Cass is like, oh, so's mine.
Jerky? Anyone? It's only 2 copper. It's nothing. Just buy some jerky. It lasts literally forever.
I'm okay.
Maybe later. We're going someplace where dried meats will not stay so dry.
Oh, wet jerky's even better.
That sounds terrible.
Have you tried it?
No, and I would
How do you know
not
it's
like
terrible?
to.
How do you know it's terrible?
Common sense.
Common sense means nothing in the world of culinary arts.
Good thing I am not a chef.
Have you tried being a chef? Because you could be.
I feel like I'm talking in a circle.
Man, you thought I was buddy.
While we're talking, I have some jerky sitting in my mouth now, and I'm like biting it and chewing it while we talk.
What's up, Doc?
Someone comes over. This figure is wearing like heavy cloaks. The cloak pulled around so you can't see his face. And he says, "Is that jerky you're selling?"
Yes. And that matches tone of voice. Yes.
Do you know what goes good with jerky?
What?
Swords! So he pulls it off and it's that guy. He just reaches into his cloak. He's got fucking swords go good with jerky.
I said, hey, I got a proposition for you.
What?
I'll buy a sword
Okay.
if you will run my jerky stand for the rest of the day.
Deal.
How much for a sword? For your least rusty sword.
Says, I have to be shrewd. I have him where I want him.
Can I be like backing away?
As you back away, some guy goes, fabrics! And he says, 2 silver,
All I got is copper, dude.
20 copper.
Cabinet above the
I got-
sink.
I got 5 copper.
Sold! And he just throws a rusted sword on the ground and he smacks it from your hand and he runs away.
Wait! I grab him before he runs away.
Roll a dex check.
What is this guy's MO?
12, 13.
All right, mark me down for a crit fail.
So I
You
yoke him by the neck.
You grab onto the back of his shirt, and when you do, his feet slip out from under him, and about a dozen rusted swords fly out of his cloak, and just clink, 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 and shatter. And then he drops to his knees. My swords!
Can I
They're all I had!
turn him around? And can I, he's, looking down at his swords, right?
Yeah.
Can I, push his chin up so he's looking at me?
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll,
What do you gotta do?
I want to persuade him to run my stand, sell my jerky, and I'll split the profits from him. Split the profits with him because I bought his fucking sword.
Roll an honor check.
Honor check?
Honor check.
Which is, it's roll a d20, wisdom plus charisma.
D20, wisdom plus charisma. 8, 12.
12?
Yeah.
He looks at you and he says, okay. I don't know how to sell jerky, though.
It's the same way you sell swords, just don't run around.
And he
Say jerky.
he looks back at you very cautiously, and he raises his hand and he grabs a fistful of jerky. He goes, jerky?
Louder.
Jerky.
Louder.
Jerky.
All your might.
Jerky!
I give Bard's inspiration.
Okay. He grabs another fistful and goes running into the market, screaming at the top of it, jerky! You have an intrinsic feeling from what could be some sort of DM that your business is in good hands.
And then I grab a handful of jerky.
Okay.
Enough that I won't need any more of it for a while. Enough for myself to eat off of it for about a month at least.
Yeah.
Stuff it in my pack and say, well, he's handling that. What are you guys up to?
You get to the end of the docks where you see Miro is sitting once again, continuing to carve his small wooden block. When he sees you guys come up, he kind of stands up and quickly looks to Tribute and Cass and looks over to Adela. Then he looks over at Tribute and Cass and very confidently walks over to Adela and says, you've come for the job. Well, you were the one who was the most interested in it, so I think we're in business. Sorry, the job's taken.
She's our friend we talked about yesterday.
I was about to say they're with me, but yes.
Welcome aboard! Glad to have a full crew once again.
I'm just tagging along. No one's invited me. I'm just walking.
That's fine. Usually how
I
this
suppose
works.
he's with us too, but I didn't think cats liked water.
Good, extra hand for the pump.
I love water. Swim all the time.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit ignorant to say that Tabaxi don't like water. They're not house cats, after all. About 100 times bigger.
How big is a house cat?
About 100 times smaller.
I'm gonna hold up my hands.
I was just about to do that, like Addie and
Tribute and Addie just...
Oh,
Don't worry, we'll teach you our ways.
yeah.
Well,
I knew nothing of the service.
everyone on board, and he jumps off the dock onto his boat, which sinks down and rocks back and forth. He says, all right, everyone on. We're off to adventure. In the middle of this large boat, you see that there are 3 pumps. Attached to them, there are long hoses that go into it looks like a small cabin beneath the top of the boat. He walks to the front and he starts pulling up an anchor, which he just leaves on the front of the boat. And he goes to the back, kind of past you guys, and excuse me. And he pulls out of the water what looks like a metal rod. And on each side, it looks like there's 2, in different directions, angled bent rods. And on the end, there looks like there's pieces of wood. Then we'll make our way out to the spot. And with your acknowledgement that you're ready,
Yeah.
he leans back, puts his feet on these small wooden blocks, and begins to pedal.
Oh god.
You hear the splashing of water as a small rudder begins to spin, propelling the boat. He grabs 2 handles at his side. Laying on his back, he is propelling the boat forward with a and you are on your way to the middle of the ocean. You move away from the island, and it's not too long before you see that island begin to shrink away.
Second thoughts about being on a boat with people I almost died with the first
I was
time.
going to say, yeah, I'm like clutching the railing.
How do we determine how good we are at swimming?
Athletics.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Tribute is
I never
Tribute
looked
is
like that.
clutching the sides of the boat, which means she is squatting, holding on to very thin railing.
I'm assuming like kneeling in the boat, standing while he's propelling it.
Praying.
You're actually moving at a fairly brisk pace. He is huffing back and forth as he's pedaling. If you guys want to take a minute or you just kind of want to sit and prepare yourself for the adventure ahead, we can move forward to the spot. He pedals for quite a few hours, about 4 hours. The island is small, but not out of view. It doesn't look like a swimmable distance. But it's close enough. You could drift back. He finishes his pedaling. He gets up. He looks around. And he says with confidence, "This is the spot. Directly below us is the wreck of the SS Nestling. A wreck that the god Umberly herself seen fit to sink. And in this wreck, there are untold treasures that are just waiting to be surfaced and sold. Now, I have 3 of my reasonably genius contraptions that will provide air for those who decide to go underneath. We have more than enough hose to get you down there and around. I'll need, for as many people who take the suit, someone needs to be at their pump, pumping air. If you stop, well, there's no air. What do you think's going to happen? So, who's suiting up and going down?
I'm just going to pull out my lute and start playing the Jeopardy theme.
Who's suiting up and going down?
I don't believe I have a need for a suit.
Well, saves us a bit of time.
We had volunteered.
You can trust me.
Okay.
I've got you.
Thank you.
I'll pump.
He reaches.
So who's taking the suits?
That is going to both be tribute and cast.
And I'll tell Tribute, no, this is how we're paid. I'll take the suit.
It's very generous of you, but I'll be fine.
I'm sure you will. But
Whichever of you is stronger should probably be the one pumping.
we'll arm wrestle for it.
Well,
You want to switch?
No, really, I'm trying to do the arm
Well-
wrestling match for the suit.
Having opened both small latches, he's holding 2 suits, and it looks like he's shaking something out of one.
the thing he's shaking.
What is coming out of it?
Everyone roll a perception check.
Oh, well, that was useless.
14.
I don't know why I did that.
14, Cecil.
17.
14, 17,
15.
15,
21.
21, 13. Everyone sees a finger drop out of the suit. He swiftly kicks it into the water. Suits are ready.
Never mind, pick the suit. Unless you want
I can go down.
I'll take the suit.
It might take strength to like fight in water too. Need be.
That's true. Well,
I'll go. I'd rather like to see this wreck for myself.
So,
whichever works for you.
I trust you. So
So, suiting
Okay.
up, Cass, and Tribute.
Can I get my horns in this thing?
That's a
Just-
good
that just
question.
occurred
What
to
if your
me.
horns just don't fit?
The way the bowls work is that it actually opens on one side, and when he goes to explain, so the suits, they're reasonably strong. A bit, frankly, I designed them myself. They're a bit stronger than your average leather armor, so they can take kind of a punishment in there for the best that it can. We have weighted boots, as being full of air tends to really bring you back to the surface. You have to put on the weighted boots so you sink to the bottom. The helmets themselves, they arguably they're the weakest design, but we'll open them up, they clasp around your head, and then I'll put a specially formulated leather strap over the seam so that it doesn't fill with water as soon as you get it.
How is this a specially formulated leather strap? Specially formulated
With my special formula, of course.
with your special formula.
It wouldn't be special if I told you, lad.
It still would be.
Nah, not even a little bit. Yes.
can we take the boots off then to float back up, or
Don't take the boots off, they're expensive.
no? How do we get back up?
Swim.
With weighted boots?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It just takes a little bit of work, but you get it.
That almost sounds like we definitely made the right choice.
So he drops the 2 suits down on the deck, and they make a loud thump. Do the 2 of you suit up?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to stay above deck. Monitor everything up here. When you get down, we should be right above it. You'll see it when you get down there. There should be a large crack in the side you should be able to go into. I've never made it in there before. The shark usually is sometimes there. Sometimes it's not. I'm sure it won't be there today. So hop on down, and everything will be fine.
I have a dagger ready just in case.
How am I pumping for?
You have you're pumping, so you have your weapons. There's no reason for your weapons to be encased at all, so you can have your weapons with you. You jump into the water?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'll be leading because I'm talking to the shark.
All right. Adela, you jump in the water, and it's a very freeing movement for you. It's actually very freeing for you. Again, once you jump in the water, you feel more natural to where you're at. For Tribute and Cass, as you jump in the water, you feel the suit almost begin to immediately inflate. Addie,
Yes.
you will be pumping for Cass.
Mm-hmm.
This requires you to pump every 6 seconds.
All right.
Breeze, you will be pumping for Tribute every 6 seconds. All right.
What if we also pump?
Let's find out.
They start inflating.
That's how we bring them back up.
You overinflate them. And as the 2 of you jump in, the suits begin to fill. The gloves you're wearing, like these suits are just like a reinforced like canvas. It's like canvas layered with canvas, and on the inside is layered with leather. It covers your entire bodies down to the iron boots that you had to tie tight around your ankles. The helmets themselves, they have been, they open till they're flat and then they close around you, and then he applies a leather strap with a strange formula to it, and then it closes and he turns it so it's not in front of your face. As you jump in, you start to sink immediately, just start rushing down, actually a bit faster than Adela can follow. This suit, you can feel on your arms and legs, a bit of water beginning to leak in. But, yes.
Did I have to, like, shove my tail down one of my pants legs or something? Because I assume this was not made for tieflings.
No, but your tail is lean enough that it's in there, but it's just kind of in there. Like, you didn't have to shove it down one of your pant legs. You could, but you're just wearing pants where your tail doesn't have a vent. You're rapidly falling. A little bit of water's getting into the suit. But as you begin to dive deeper and deeper, you see in the distance the wreck of the SS Nestaline, a ship that has been down for generations. It's almost completely green and covered in algae and barnacles. Where a mast once stood has broken off long ago and has been deteriorated. The ship itself is almost completely in pieces. If you look there on the map, ignoring the land bits of it, that is the majority of how the ship looks. Broken apart. Not much left to it. It's still a sizable ship, and it looks like you'll have to be going inside. When you finally hit the ground, Adela, you meet them. You, Cass and Tribute, will be mostly grounded. You will be operating with half speed, as it's very difficult to move. Your attacks will be at disadvantage, as swinging a weapon in this terrain is very difficult as you're pushing against gallons of water, and you have no ability to hear each other. Magic will function the way it should, as long as you can breathe. Adela, you can speak to them. They can hear you.
Okay.
You are not encumbered at all. And as you land about 30 feet away, what do you do?
Can look for the crack that he said.
I was going to look for the shark.
Well, he said that the shark was in the crack, in the ship.
Okay. You're looking for the shark, Tribute? Go ahead and roll perception. Adela?
It's hardly better.
Roll perception.
8.
8?
That's 7.
you're not able, as you kind of look around the ship, you don't really see any marine life. Doesn't look like there's any small fish. There's nothing scuttling across the ground. Nothing seems to be around this ship. Adela, you rolled what?
7.
A 7. You're looking at the ship, but it looks like too much algae has surrounded it and looks like it might have covered up the crack you spoke of. Cass?
Can I do an Arcana check to see if there's still, like, godly energy left since it supposedly was sunk by a god?
Give it a roll.
Not 20.
You're still very new to opening yourself to the ebbs and flows of magic. And as you try to silence your mind and open yourself up to it, you come to understand that something attacked so deliberately by a god is rarely destroyed then left. That's barbaric and archaic, especially for a god who is in passing known as the bitch god.
Uh-oh.
You have a good feeling that when Umberly sunk this ship, that was the beginning of what she chose to do to the ship and those on board of it. It's not the end.
Great, okay.
With that, you all stand about 30 feet from this ship. It's sunk. You're on the ground. What do you do?
The next logical thing would be to go onto what used to be the deck of it and see if I can get in from the top.
Okay.
I couldn't find the crack.
You, Adela, can move quite a bit quicker than them, so you can get right to the ship. Both Tribute and Cass are going to be lagging behind a little bit. And Adela, as you swim up to the top deck, you go to land on it, and you see rising from some of the algae. Looks like it's been covered. Rising from it, you see a fairly sizable shark. It comes out, and it seems to act very aggressively as it swims quickly, directly towards you. What do you do?
I'm going to use my ability to talk to animals and tell them to halt.
Okay. Go ahead and roll either a persuasion or an intimidation, whichever you care.
18.
It swims up to you. It begins to open its mouth, where you see its white and red, jagged, pointed teeth. It swims at you with a certain speed, and as you are swimming, you begin to put yourself in a very dominant position and in a posture that would suggest authority, and you call out to it to stop. And the shark just quickly spins around you, and it just begins to slowly circle you, though it has closed its teeth. What do you do now?
Leave this place.
The shark is unable to communicate back with you. It does not have the intelligence, a -5. It does not have the intelligence to speak. But it can send you its emotions. You get fear. It's afraid to leave. But you also get a sense of purpose from it, that it's occupying this space for a reason. What do you want to do with that? About this time, the two of you are arriving fairly close to the ship. Seeing that, the shark notices, and it begins to swim their direction.
I'm going to tell it to ignore them and focus on me.
Persuasion.
It's an 11. That was good.
The shark sends back this emotion of duty and regret, but it swims very quickly towards the two of you. Let's roll initiative.
Ha!
Adela.
5.
Put me on the
Tribute.
list. Natural 20.
All right, so you're going first,
Hell
and Cass.
7.
All right, Tribute. You see this thing swimming right towards you. With its beginning round movement, it is going to be within 10 feet of you.
Cool. So since it's super heavy and my weapons don't work properly underwater, I'm going to use Ray of Frost.
Go ahead and make your attack. This will not require disadvantage.
Hey. It's going to be 18.
18 will hit. You extend your hand and the water begins to freeze around you. And when you fire this off, a long, icy pole extends 10 feet till it eventually connects.
5.
The pole extends and eventually hits the bottom of the shark. It reels back as you see ice begin to crawl along its belly. It is going to now... it is going to swim forward at you. Having seen your attack, it is going to attack you back. It is going to go for a 10.
Will not hit.
It reaches forward, its massive maw opens up, and as it goes to close down, you just throw your shield at it, and you bounce it in the face, moving the shark off. It is now going to begin to circle the two of you. And that is going to go down to Cass.
I'm gonna try to attack it with my longsword.
All right, you'll do so at disadvantage.
15.
2 15s?
15, 16. So 16.
Both will hit. As you see this thing beginning to circle, you just raise your arm, and with the proper amount of timing, you're able to slash across the side of it, breaking some of the ice.
10 damage.
Ooh! You cut further more than the ice. You cut a good gash into the side of it. Blood begins to fill around you, and your vision is now becoming very difficult to see as you're surrounded in a dark red blood. Adela, this blood is beginning to fill the area, and you're losing line of sight on the shark.
Does her hair turn blood color?
She's actually bald now.
Well, I mean water, so I'm made
Yeah,
of
her
water.
hair's her hair's bald now.
You should
Man.
throw the ice thing with the area effect.
Kill them both.
It's that time. You just gotta put a hole in their suits.
What do you want to do?
I'm going to go behind the shark and kind of stab with my trident.
Go ahead and make your attack. The shark's in constant motion. It's in a constant circling. It has to or it'll die. So you're just kind of swimming with it and making your attack. The blood is too thick for you to get any kind of flanking.
16.
16 will hit.
Alright. And D6, what do I add to it again?
Your strength or dexterity. I think your strength.
Okay.
Yeah, strength. Tridents are strength weapons.
6.
You throw. It's fine. 6 points of damage.
Mhm.
With that, searching through the blood, you thrust your trident forward and you're able to jab into it. The trident sinks deep enough that you're actually now grappled to it. You're unable to pull it out. That is going to go back up to tribute. The shark is now held still on the end of Adela's trident. It's thrashing about trying. It's actually, as it's doing so, the blood's pouring out and it's thrashing some of it away.
Talking didn't work, as you can see.
I'm going to do the same thing because it worked pretty well the first time. It's probably not going to hit. So it's just an 11.
11 to hit?
Yeah.
That'll miss.
Yeah, I figured.
All right, that is going to go over to the shark. He is being held still, and for sharks, especially like this, that is bad for them. So he'll do a Constitution saving throw. He'll do all right. He is going to try to snap back and bite you. That is going to be a 10.
Nope.
He snaps back, his teeth crash together, but you're able to just move the trident away. He doesn't even come close. That is going to go down to Cass.
I'm going to attack my longsword again.
Give it a roll. Disadvantage.
That is 21, 18.
Both will hit. With that, you are able to bring the sword down. Don't bother.
Okay.
It had 1 hit point.
Oh.
You're able to bring the sword down and ultimately chop into its head, causing it to run still and eventually float off of... actually, you have to break it loose from your trident.
Alright, well, I'm going to do that.
Okay. Pull the trident out. Blood fills, and it just drops down to the bottom. In front of you is the ship. What do you do?
Let's go, I guess.
Yep. I'm going to continue towards the ship again.
You all begin to move towards the ship. the long hoses that extend to the surface just move with you. And as you move towards where this algae-filled crack is, you move it out of the way. And when you do so, you look in, and you see piles of bones laying on the ground. And what more, you see what looks like chains, someone chained to a wall. They look almost alive. Their body decomposed and rotted, but they're chained to the wall. They're on their knees, they're facing the wall, head down, wrists in the air, and you see behind what looks like a ghastly figure of bones brought together, not just human bones, but bones of what looks like the teeth of sharks run up the spine of it, what looks like decomposed pieces of starfish clasping to its body to give it a wholeness. It looks like it has arms of octopuses, and they're just coming down and lashing this figure on the back, and it screams with a horrible undead scream for mercy. But this figure doesn't let up. It lashes on this thing's back. The skin tears away and bleeds, but heals back together.
Kind of pointless, but can I throw down a divine sense?
That's a lot of undead.
Listen, I just gotta get that out there.
You see this tortured figure. What do you do?
Can I see... Does he have any remnants of clothing at all, or is he just, like, undeadly naked?
Which one?
The guy who's being lashed repeatedly.
Go ahead and roll an investigation.
My strong suit. Nat fucking 20.
He is clearly wearing what looks like an elven ship captain's uniform.
Recalling what I do of the myth that was told me, that this guy is seduced one of Umberlee's priests and then basically left her. I feel no pity.
With that information, the three of you see this. The figure, whether it has noticed you or not, does not turn. What would you like to do?
Is there another way into the ship?
You look around and you see that the ship is actually kind of expansive. You're just in the front of the ship. You do see around what looks like chests that have been closed. Those tend to surround the figure there. They are actually turned towards facing the figure that is being whipped.
I'm just gonna look at you, because I can't talk to you. And my face just says, I ain't messing with that.
Are there any pebbles or something?
Oh, there are plenty of things on the seafloor, yes.
I'm going to take them and do my magic stone.
Oh, hold on a second, guys.
Okay.
What are you gonna do?
My magic stone?
What does Magic Stone do?
Touch 1 to 3 pebbles, imbue them with magic. You or someone else can make a ranged spell attack hurling it with a sling.
Alright.
Yeah. And so then I'm going to use my sling and sling one at one of the chests to see if anything happens.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
That'd be a nat 20.
We're nat 20 it up today.
Yeah.
You fire this...
Everyone's rolled once.
Because Andre died yesterday.
He gave his life for you guys to natural 20 now.
Yeah.
You grab a rock and you put it in your sling. You pull it back, and with a very lazy amount of force does the snap happen of flexible leather, and it just kind of drifts forward. And when it hits a chest, the chest, for no reason, just bursts open. Inside, looks like fabric just kind of drifts out of it and comes to the ceiling. The figure, turning around, stops whipping this thing. It turns and looks at all of you. And when it does, you see that there's just a full white skull. Few of the teeth missing. You see that it's got on decrepit leather armor. And on the front of it, you can see, in burning fire, 2 waves crashing together, which you recognize to be the symbol of Umberlee. It turns to look to you. One of the octopus arms falls to its side, and he begins to wiggle it back and forth, motions you recognize to be done with a whip. And it looks to the 3 of you, waiting for you to make your move.
So Tribute and Cass had this minute where they just looked at each other, and Cass was just pointing like, let's leave. Man, because I really don't want to fight that thing. As it appears to be, it's undead, but it's clearly like a divine tool in exacting this man's punishment. So I realize I'm in this terrible clunky diving suit, but I'm kind of like trying to incline the helmet and like do like a symbol of tear thing.
You can do it with your hands. You've got hands still.
Well, this is going to look weird. I'm going to try and like...
No, it's not going to look weird in the helmet, though. It'll look fine.
And I'm going to try and like walk away. Just kind of back away, like with my head kind of bowed. Like, I don't mean to interfere in your work.
Tribute backs away. Adela, Cass?
Hopefully
I'm backing away with tribute.
Cass backs away. Adela?
I'm gonna try talking to this thing.
What languages do you speak?
Primordial, Common, Druidic, and Silver.
No language you tried, does it understand?
Gonna throw another pebble.
Mad.
Another chest.
Okay. Go ahead and make the roll.
I start leaving.
I'll be a 17.
Okay. You fire at one of the chests. It clunks against one of the chests, and you hear the breaking of a rusted lock, and it kind of cricks. And this thing looks down at the chest. It looks up to you, and it takes a few steps forward. It raises back the large tentacled arm, and it waits for your next movement.
I've got one more pebble. I'm gonna do another test.
All right. It is going to make a whip attack on you before you can do that. And that is going to be an 11 against your AC.
Nope.
All right. It extends its tentacle forward, and it snaps in the water around you. Go ahead and make your attack.
Be a 9. 10.
This startles you, and your rock goes wide and bounces off the end of the ship. Go ahead and roll initiative.
Does that include us?
If you guys just roll initiative. If you want to use your turn to walk away, take your boots off, and float up, you can absolutely do that.
Nice.
I don't want this.
Adele.
I'm doing good with initiative 6.
Tribute.
Soft 20.
Cass.
18.
You hear the loud snap that you've been hearing against the back of the guy that is in the boat, and you hear the sound of the rock clumping off the side of the boat. I will say the two of you are 30 feet back. Is there anything, as the two of you, Tribute then Cass, is there anything the two of you want to do, or do you want to just continue to leave?
I want to try and, like, motion to Adela, like, get out of here. So I can at least say that I tried.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and get to the surface, because there's something evil at work here, and there's no treasure that is worth this.
All right. That is going to go to the layer action.
Oh, lovely.
As you are waving to Adela, trying to get her to come out, the bones inside of the ship, they begin to float up. And as they're floating up, they begin to form into bipedal beings. They float far quicker than you. And for Addie and Breeze and Mira on the boat, you see skeletons begin to rise from the water and swim towards your ship.
Oh, shit.
Go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh, no.
Yep, 2 year project.
Yeah, anything that's got a lair action is just bad news bears.
12.
This is the guy on the ship freaking out.
Yep.
That was just funny.
This didn't happen before.
People probably didn't kill the shark, obviously.
Shark was just trying to protect everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, that poor shark. I feel bad. If only sharks could speak.
It's awesome shit.
Yeah, man. It's like, listen, there's some weird tentacle skull motherfucker down there. Y'all don't want to see it.
The Bone Boys will be going on...
Boys.
They'll be going on the layer action. With that, we are just going to go... Miro is going to freak the hell out, and he is going to grab a long steel pole, and he's going to presume a very nervous fighting position.
So he basically has a harpoon.
A harpoon. That's what I was looking for. I couldn't think of it, though.
No.
That's empty. And that is going to go to Cass.
I'm taking off my boots and starting to float.
All right. On your next round, you will get to the top.
Okay.
And
Or
that
you'll
is-
see more.
and that is going to go to Breeze. It requires an action to pump oxygen.
Are the guys on the boat yet?
No, they are swimming towards the boat, though.
And how close are the pumps?
You're at the pumps right now.
Like how? Like there's 2 pumps, right?
Yes,
How far away is the first pump from the second pump?
10 feet.
If I wanted to, could I pump both pumps while someone else is fighting?
It would be difficult, but you could do it.
So I'm gonna. How many times can I pump in my one turn? Just one.
One per round.
I'm gonna pump my pump.
All right. And that's going to go to Addie.
I'm gonna pump my pump.
And that is going to drop down to Adela.
Thank you guys for not being dickweeds.
So they're now, they're like 30 feet away from this thing, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to do my ice knife at the thing.
All right. Give it a roll.
Jeez.
At least we're not there.
She's got no fear.
Oh.
Oh yes.
Natural 1.
You find a way to hit me with this ice knife.
It just flies back at its tribute. It is going to slam into one of the chests. When it explodes, all of the gold in it freezes, then breaks apart.
Oh. That means everyone now is on both the nat 20 and the nat 1 list. That was your first nat 1.
Yeah.
And the figure is going to...
Did she get hit by splash?
No, but another chest does. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
10.
10 points of damage.
Mm.
Where the ice knife slams into the chest and freezes all of the gold. It explodes forward, and as it does, it hits a barrel that is nearby. The barrel is filled with something. That something then leaks out and puts kind of a black mist all over everything. So visibility is extremely low.
I can fix that.
All
In
right.
this term, I fix that.
If you... Actually, because it's something in the air, it's doesn't matter if dark vision or not. It is going to go to the creature. It is going to try and wrap you in its tentacles. Go ahead and give me a strength saving throw.
7.
All right. You are wrapped up in its tentacle, and it is going to pull you closer to it. That is going to be its turn. That is going to go back up to tribute. Have you? I don't think you've deployed. Did you deploy your boots yet?
Yeah, I intended to rise to the surface at the end of my last turn.
Okay. At the end of this, your suit fully inflates. Your boots are leaving an opening at the bottom of your pants. With that, the air is propelling you straight up. And you arrive at the surface. As you do, you see that there is a lot of bone boys coming towards the boat. They're swimming pretty quickly. You're at the side of the boat. You have your movement still and your action.
I would like to get on the boat if possible.
Yeah, that'll just take 10 feet of movement to get on the boat.
Okay, I will get on the boat. Is taking my helmet off an action?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it if only because I feel like I need to communicate what is happening down there to
Okay.
everyone who's now being surrounded by bone boys.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the helmet off, and I'm gonna say that there is something incredibly evil at work down there. There is some divine punishment being enacted by a creature made of bones, and I, for one, am not willing to get involved in that.
That wasn't down there before. Did you get the shark?
The shark was not a problem. The creature that is a manifestation of Umberlee's wrath is.
Oh. Oh shit, those are true. I thought that was just something somebody made up to scare people off the wreck.
I am afraid it is very true.
Is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
I don't think there's anything else that I can do.
Bonus action?
I don't think I have anything that is a bonus action.
All right.
So I'm going to prepare myself for my next action, I guess.
Bobbing to the surface, you have arrived.
Hooray!
With this, Miro is going to use his action to run to the back of the boat, and he's going to begin to pull up the contraption that he uses to propel the boat. With that, their skeletons are going to board the boat. All right, that is going to be 3 skeletons. They're going to get on board, and they're going to first.
What did anyone call it?
One is going to first attack Miro. Skeleton blows, dude. The skeleton runs up, holding up the most dangerous weapon known to sailors. A rusted scimitar.
Oh.
The sea sword! He raises up and he slashes towards Miro, but it slams into the boat. Another one is going to run up. Currently on deck is going to be Addie, Breeze, and Tribute. 1, 2, 3. One's going to run towards Tribute and make his attack. That is going to be 11.
Nope.
And the third one is going to jump up and run towards Addie. 15. And that's a sad roguelike.
Man, I hope we could have
Oh
traded
my
him.
god.
Ah! Were you looking?
No, I wasn't in here.
6 points of slashing.
That's like, what, 2/3 of your health? Man. That skeleton dies first.
All right. Cass, you have surfaced. You were right by the boat.
Okay. I'm
God.
gonna get on the boat.
All right.
And I'm gonna attack the skeleton and attack Daddy.
All right. You will have flanking.
I will?
Yes.
Okay.
I just like to think that,
I
like,
got this.
with the going into the room is like, trust me, I know what I'm doing. Gets impaled. Trust me, I'll protect you.
Eddie's got a good heart. Unfortunately, everyone's trying to find it.
23.
23 will hit. Go and roll damage. Breeze, you're next. There's no reason for you to be on the pumps.
11.
Nice. God.
All right. You take a solid slash at this, and when you do, you send the bone scattering into the water. And just as the only thing that remains now are 2 legs, the pelvis, and an arm with a sword, but it's still up and moving. Breeze, it's your turn.
Casting a spell, does that count as an action?
Yes.
Using spell, that'll cost an action, yes.
Then I'm gonna hit Addie with a healing word.
Okay. That's going to be
That one's
D4.
actually-
Yep.
Oh, then I'm gonna grab my staff with 2 hands and I'm gonna whack the nearest skeleton.
That would be closest to Addie.
Yeah, I'm gonna whack him.
All right. Go ahead and roll against the skeleton first.
I feel so low. What did I do to deserve this?
That'll hit,
If you look
Go
at
roll
that
damage.
enough,
Right?
which will be a D8.
it stabbed you and you were like, really ran to you.
7, 9.
The skeleton explodes as you send the bones flying back into the sea.
And then I say, heal, bitch!
What? How much health did I get?
missed it.
You had rolled a 3 originally.
I
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. 3 plus what?
Plus
Your charisma.
Oh, 6.
You got everything back.
Yeah.
Your wound heals up, everything's fine. It never happened.
Alright.
Addie cries, and then
She
in 2
is
seconds, the skeleton's
flanking
gone.
the other.
Oh, that thing's gone now.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I just
Yeah. There's 2 more skeletons on board, one attacking Meryl and the other one attacking Tribute.
If I go up to them, I'd be flanking.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the one that's attacking Tribute. And with flanking, I get advantage, and with advantage, I get sneak attack.
Sneak attack.
Nice, nice, nice.
Go and roll to attack.
Alright. I didn't need to go, but I did. 19?
Hits.
Alright. Hey, that is 8 damage.
That's a nice
All right.
waist crit.
I will come over there.
She said it.
I said it first.
With your ability to sneak up behind it, you just take your dagger and you slam the handle of
rapier.
it. Oh, the rapier?
Mhm.
You slam the handle of it against the spine, causing all of the bones to just kind of fall apart at it.
Oh, okay.
But what only remains is a single leg, the pelvis, and the skull that now has the scimitar in its mouth.
So the skull's like in the pelvis?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, coming out of the pelvis is the scimitar.
Oh,
Yes.
gotcha.
No.
Am I able to attack even though I'm being held, or do I have to use my action to get out?
You can try and get out with an action, or you can attack.
Oh, I can attack. Okay. Attack it. I'm taking my trident with 2 hands.
Okay.
So it's a D8.
You have disadvantage. Which roll?
Another 1.
A natural 1 with the trident?
stab yourself.
You thrust forward with the trident. The tentacle wraps tight, and you feel, weirdly for the first time, something hard. And as your grip slips, everything goes black. And that is going to go to the light. You guys don't know what it does. That goes back up to tribute.
Oh.
Oh.
Ominous.
We're gonna lose another character.
So there's half a skeleton attacking Mural, or half a skeleton attacking me. You attack the one on me.
Yes.
Oh, and there's still the whole skeleton attacking Mural. I guess I'll go ahead and try and finish off the skeleton attacking me.
Okay.
Because it's here, and why not?
And advantage.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's definitely gonna hit. 'Cause it's a 22. For the sake of it. Nope, 22.
22?
Yeah.
22 will hit.
Cool. So that is with my rapier. Whoops. Hey, it rolled an 8 anyway, so it's 10 points of slashing damage.
All right, you take the rapier and you just fling the rest of this skeleton back into the water. At the end of that, the skeleton that was attacking Meryl stops. It turns around and gets back into the water. All of the skeletons that were swimming towards stop, and they just sink back down.
Well, that's
I don't like
not
that.
good.
And we're going to end today on that.
Oh, what?
Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Study war no more.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you'd like to hear more of this adventure, stay tuned to our Twitter @QuipsandCrits for live show announcements. If you liked today's episode, leave us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Music on today's show is performed by Leon Lischner and Dennis Murphy's Polka, which can be found at Free Music Archives. Links provided in description.